Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another broadcast on CRN. Tonight, we have Daytona for the National Sim Racing Retro Cup Gen 4 Open setups. It's the Daytona 500. We got through Speed Weeks. It's the final week of Speed Weeks. But before we get into more of the Speed Week talk, let me introduce my counterpart, my best friend on iRacing. We're going to meet each other later in the year at Bristol in October, but that's Mr. Ricky Gonzalez.
Mr. McDonald, how are we doing tonight?
Oh, man, we're doing pretty darn good over here. It's going to be a long race here tonight. 500 miles, 200 laps. That's right, 200 laps at Daytona. It's definitely going to be something adrenaline kind of for these drivers out here. And it's Daytona. It's the old configuration, so it's going to be super bumpy. So I think a lot of people with the direct drive rims and wheels and the belt driven wheels, they're definitely going to feel that all the way through this racetrack.
Yeah, I was able to do some testing on this track earlier today. It's the first time I've actually driven one of these Gen 4 Cup cars. I'm not the best driver on the server, and so I just wanted to get behind the wheel, see how it felt. I know officials this week I think they're at Daytona this week, so that these drivers had an opportunity to get more seat time if they wished, running officials this week. And so, yeah, one of the things I noticed right off the bat was just how bumpy everything was. Recently, as some of our viewers know, I got a chance to upgrade some of the stuff on the wheel and on the rig. So I'm rocking the NASCAR Fanatec wheel, and so yeah, that thing was bouncing all over the place. It's a big 13.5-inch wheel, and so trying to keep that thing steady, as you know, at the other Daytona where it's repaved, it's a lot more smoother. You're not having to jerk the wheel as much, but yeah, at this place, the Legacy Daytona, I mean, this thing was bouncing all over the place. I was just trying to be smooth with it, not try to let the back end of the car whip out, because the more input you put, the more the back end just wants to kick out. So yeah, I was just trying to log laps. I kind of did it the old school way, like they did back in the 80s, where you didn't hug that yellow line, kind of just let the car float into the corner and off of two. And yeah, I was just trying to get used to it. So these things feel like they're a blast. I looked down at the tack one time and I'm going like 195. I've never done that on iRacing before, so that was pretty cool. And then getting a tug along with a draft with some of these guys. They can't see me in the session, but it still has a draft effect, I guess, when you're out there by yourself. So yeah, it was interesting to get around this circuit, and I believe these guys, patience will be the key tonight. Like you said, Dylan, 200 laps, 500 miles, and so you just got to make your moves at a certain time. You just can't go in think you're going to plow through the field and get a lap led. I know every driver wants to try to at least lead a lap, get your season started on the right foot. And yeah, we're gonna see who's gonna be going towards the front and who's gonna be moving towards the back.
Yeah, and you brought up a great point, but it comes to, a lot of drivers see Daytona as a race where, it is what it is. So there's going to be the big one that happens throughout the race. It's inevitable. You're going to see it happen no matter what you do. So some drivers do look at the next week as we go to Rockingham next week. That's going to start their season. They're just here to ride around, have fun, get the feel for the drivers, as we've already had 2 weeks of solid racing, getting to know these drivers and how they drive. But then again, it is a plate track. Everybody races a little bit different on plate tracks. Next week we have a 1-mile track in Rockingham, which is one of my favorite racetracks. I don't know why. It's super bumpy, just like this old configuration of Daytona, but still, it's going to be a what-if moment for a lot of these drivers. And, with the shootout in the two twin 125s, we've already got our front row set, and these guys are going to go straight from practice straight into the race. And with having about 5 to 4 minutes left into this practice session, we actually have a grand marshal tonight, and that's going to be Mr. Lyle Mitchell, which we'll bring him in here for a quick second. But yeah, it's Daytona. It's just Jesus take the wheel at any given moment. And me personally, I don't like this old configuration, especially in any kind of car. You're going to burn up tires. You're going to just be loosey-goosey wherever you go. So I'm excited to see what these drivers could do throughout this whole season and see if anybody does dominate.
Yeah, I think the big thing for me, Dylan, is when it comes to these plate tracks, and you know me better than anyone on the server, for me it's chilling in the back. There's no stages tonight. We're going to go straight 200 laps, 500 miles, so we're not going to have any of these caution breaks. And so, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see who just wants to lay low for a little bit or who wants to just try to make their move and try to go to the front. I'm trying to look at the rules. I don't see any tire limit, so that's going to be interesting to see. Unlimited sets of tires from what it looks like, so I'm gonna be interested to see who takes that strategy. You can probably get around 65 laps of fuel. I looked down, I did 3 laps, and I looked down and I forgot to even do what I was paid attention on what I was doing. The reason why I get in those cars is also to see the fuel mileage, what we can get on a fuel run. So yeah, 65 laps, I believe these guys can make it. And then for me, I'm chilling in the back until the big one is bound to happen.
Yeah, and you bring up a good point. Staying in the back. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Now, how far away would you want to be? Do you want to be still catching that draft of the first or even third pack, or do you just want to have a couple of guys back there with you, just riding, just in case if the big one does happen, you guys have enough time to slow down?
Yeah, for me, it's staying in the pack, but not losing the pack, if that makes sense. So I'm probably staying within a second within the first pack. That way I can still catch that draft, still try to save fuel as much as I can. The one thing I don't want to be is that lead car. Because if you're that lead car, for all the viewers who are new to iRacing or new to NASCAR racing just in general, the lead car is going to burn more fuel than the guy behind. So I want to be that third, fourth car, and then look out, because it's hard to see within these cars. You can't see the car in front of them, if that makes sense. So as you're in the driver's seat, you can only see the person that's directly in front of you. You can't see 2, 3, 4 cars in front. And so I want to be able to at least give enough room where I can still check up and not get into the back of somebody, because another thing, Dylan, that we don't have tonight, we don't have that elusive faster pair like we do in our other series that we broadcast here on CRN. These guys are, once you wreck, you're done. And so you're going to have to come down, fix as much damage as you can. So I just want to be in the back. It's the safest place to be. If I can get some of my friends back there with me, then great. So when it comes to the Title Town guys, most of us just go straight to the back and we stay in a caravan and we just ride until something happens. And then obviously all of us are there at the end. We had a chance at Daytona on a Monday league to try to win that race. We came in third, and then at Talladega we had a chance in that league also to win the race. We came in fifth. But you got to give yourselves an opportunity at the end. If you don't give yourself a chance at the end, then you're just there just to be there. And I know these drivers have put a ton of practice in. I see the session; it's a 4.5, almost a 5-hour session. So you don't want to waste your time within 5 hours, 200 laps. But for all this practice time, just to get wrecked out, just because you don't want to be patient.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be another thing that these drivers are going to need to learn, is a little bit of patience. But we have 10 seconds left in this practice session, and we are joined by our Grand Marshal here tonight. That's going to be Lyle Mitchell. Lyle, how are you doing here tonight?
Good. How about you guys?
Oh, we're up here at the booth where it's safe. We don't have anybody yelling at us about, pushing a little bit too hard. We get to watch the incidents go from us to them. So without further ado, Mr. Lyle Mitchell, I believe tonight you are the Grand Marshal for tonight's race, and we're going to go ahead and let you give off our first invocation.
Well, we gotta wait a little bit. They gotta grade up.
Oh, well, sorry. Well, while we wait for that, we're going to go ahead and run down the grid here. Alexander Encarnacio and Robert Lawrence make up row number 1. Robert Engelman and Brandon Bass make up row number 2. Shane Willen Sr. and Daniel Monix, row number 3. Jacob Peak and William Martin, row number 4. Jad Gunigsman and Aaron Jackson make up row number 5. Brian Wiggins and Craig Hawkins make up row number 6. Move this on down really quick. Mark Thomas and Johnny Taylor make up row number 7. Mark Sikochi and James Marcotti Jr. make up row number 8. John Thompson and Matty Clark, row number 9. Jacob Kaplan and Stoney Benfield make up row number 10. Row number 11 is going to be Dan Ross and Kyle Merkel. Row number 11 is going to be Justin Cope and Brian Whitney.
Dylan.
What?
They're on.
Oh, well, you do what you got to do there, Mr. Lyle.
Well, they already did it all, so nothing can work for us today.
All right, well, sorry about that, everybody. As everybody is getting ready to get out of the pits, get ready to go, and we're going to get this race on and going.
Yeah, I think one day we'll eventually get that right. It's just the way that everything's timing. We're not used to having these big fields here in CRN. 30 cars here to take the green flag tonight. We're used, Dylan. We're used on our Tuesday broadcast, and I know you're back in the truck and the ARCA car. Looks like we're having some trouble as these guys are coming to grid up, but yeah, we're used to like these 20 car fields, and so Lyle, we'll get you in 1 week, I promise. Just bear with us. We'll get you in next week. I know that we're gonna try our best to get these drivers in the command to start. But any final thoughts, Dylan, before we go green flag here in the Daytona 500?
You know, it's just going to be a practice of patience all the way in and through this race. But look at all these drivers. You know, everybody's got a good, head on their shoulders. So it's definitely going to be a great race here tonight. And hopefully we see a lot of, clean and green racing.
Yeah, we're actually we're going to take one more parade lap. As you can see on our track map, not everybody is bunched up. So we're going to do one more parade lap, try to get these guys bunched up as much as we can. A lot of new faces, a lot of guys are still trying to get used to each other. This is the first time, too, Dylan, all speed weeks long. We had the Bud shootout. We didn't have a lot of cars for that. And then the Twin 125s, we had about, 15 cars probably in each session. So this is the first time, too. Everybody's going to have a chance to be in a full pack. So interested to see how that's going to play out. Also, a lot of factors going on. And then for me, I think that team to beat so far is that RCR group. Those guys have been tremendous all speed weeks long. They've worked together. That's going to be like Robert Lawrence, Brian Whitney, Johnny Taylor, and Matty D. Clark. So those are the guys I'm watching. They looked really strong in the one race I saw with the Twin 125s. So I expect that RCR group to be at the front when it's all said and done.
Yeah, definitely going to be looking at those drivers as they're going to be the crowd favorite here tonight. Johnny Taylor, that number 3 machine, along with Robert Lawrence in the 07 on the outside front row. And then you also have Matty D. Clark in the number 31 singular machine. And then for the final driver is going to be the number 29 of Brian Whitney. They are all EPI guys, so they all run with each other. They're all very good friends. I've known Johnny Taylor and Mark Sikochi for at least a good 10 years here. So, we all started out there on the PlayStation side, and we eventually moved up here to the iRacing side. But nonetheless, Barney's got the green flag. 200 laps here to the finish. And so far, you can see off into the distance, the pace car is going to take that lucky dive into pit lane down to the left. And it's going to be Andrew and Robert Lawrence bringing these guys to the green flag. And we are back to racing here for the final week of Speed Weeks.
Yeah, as the cars come up to speed. That's one thing I love about this first lap, Dylan, is we get to stay silent for just a little bit. Not right now. I see a couple cars coming off pit road. I guess they decided to start on pit lane. One of the things I love to hear is hearing these cars go through the gears. So as we come up to speed, we're just going to take a look, listen to the first couple of laps, and let's let you listen to these engines because I just love the way that these cars sound.
Yeah, you can already see them all fanning out, people wanting to go to the back. Nobody really wanting to stay up to the front as they're fanning out 3-4 wide all the way through this pack.
There's a couple drivers already making their move to the back. I saw the 8 car move back. I saw I believe that was a 29 that moved back. So all of these guys are already starting to play strategy. You can see the one back there. It's another DEI driver. You can see some of these guys starting to get spaced out just a little bit, and everybody they know patience tonight is the key. As you see already, these two RCR drivers have already linked up to each other, and so yeah, seeing a lot of these guys giving a lot of room. You don't see a lot of these drivers on the back tailgate of each other, but I anticipate that to change as we get to the later parts of this race. And I believe like around lap 150, that's when I want to start making my move to the front. Right now, you can start just kind of engaging it, what's the suck up look like in these cars? How fast can I get to the front? And then if I want to drop back, try to do it again. There's some stuff that you can learn. As you see, some of these guys, 2 of them have already lost the draft. That's going to be the 12, and I believe that's the 36. So 2 drivers already have lost the draft. And so if this thing goes green here on out, those 2 guys are definitely going to be battling for that lucky dog position. As you see, there's another car on the apron coming off pit road right now.
Yeah, another guy coming off of pit lane, and not sure who it is. It looks like it's going to be the FedEx machine. Can't remember who the number 11 is, but looked like he had a little bit of damage there for that number 11 machine. That's going to be Robert Engelman. Not sure exactly what happened to him, but he's going to fall down and through the pack. Looks like Andrew Encarnacio decided to drop back to the back of the pack, and now he's trying to make his way up to the front as Matty D. Clark leaves out Johnny Taylor to follow Andrew all the way up through the field, and he's going to be right up on that back bumper.
Yeah, the 31 doing what I said earlier in this race. He's just trying to see probably what the car is going to be able to do. Like, again, this is the first time we're in a big pack, so you can kind of see 2 different packs. The 43 is kind of stuck in the middle, so he'll follow the grass of the second pack unless he can hopefully tag. Oh, it looks like he's just coming off pit. Oh, no. I was looking at something else. Well, that 43 car, yeah, it looks like he has some teammates with him. So Shane Wilden Sr. and then the 44 right behind him of Kaplan, they're looking to just ride for a little bit, both of them in a Dodge. And then you have the second group right here. You got the 2 Hendrick cars leading this pack. So a lot of Chevrolets in the second pack. You can see, 48, the 09. Well, that's a Dodge. I'm used to that car being a Brad Keselowski Chevrolet. Then you have the 29. You see the 8s in this pack, the 88s in this pack, the 28s in this pack. So a lot of heavy hitters in this second pack, and it looks like they're just going to ride this one out. But they don't want to get too far behind. Once you get too far behind, you just want to be there at the end to try to win this race.
Yeah, definitely. That's going to be the key here tonight. As you're looking at the number 48's rear bumper, he's got a little bit of damage on that number 48 machine. Not sure what happened to him. He's got a little bit of damage on that right front as well. So maybe just an unlucky start to his day here tonight. But it seems to not be hindering his performance here, as the 09 is going to leave the number 48. He's going to go up to the high side, and that's going to bring Brian Whitney along down on the inside, as there are 2 by 2, almost 3 rows deep, and then everybody else is single file.
Yeah, the 48 came over the radio earlier on the parade lap, and somebody, I don't know if they just weren't paying attention or what was going on. Again, these drivers aren't used to each other. This is race number 3, but for the point side of things, it's race number 1. And again, I heard him come over the radio. Wasn't too happy with that driver who ended up getting in the back end of him. Could have been an honest mistake. I didn't see it on my screen, and so far I'm not going to rewind it just while we're under green flag racing. So I have your screen up, Dylan, here in Discord, and then I also have the session up just so I could see what's going on this racetrack. So it kind of helps me out with what we're calling here on the CRN side of things, but at the same time I also want to see who are the bunch of the movers and who are the bunch of the goers, as we're taking a look back here. Still, that looks like that 43 car is caught the tail. Looks like it's they're starting to make headway coming up here. Yeah, but I want to be right there where those guys are. They're in a perfect spot for me. So if anything happens within this first group, I'm right there. Can slam on the brakes, not slam on them, but like ease on the brakes and check up as much as I can. You got a teammate behind me, so I know he's not going to run me over. So these guys, I believe, are in the perfect spot to start this race so far.
Yeah, and you can see there, it looks like the 31 of Matty Clark has fallen back a little bit. Was part of that first pack there, fell back with his teammate of Johnny Taylor, the number 3 machine. And they have the number 1 of John Thompson. That's a DEI guy. So you got a 3-car pack in this second pack, and then right behind them, Brian Whitney is going to lead this 3rd pack up here, as they're still 2 by 2. And you got to think, maybe if you were the guys on the outside, would you want to get in a long line, form a train, and try to catch up to that first pack? Or are you content right now being 8 laps in and running side by side?
For me, I'd rather get single filed out. I mean, you're just losing so much time. Look how far these guys are. I mean, they're almost out of turn number 4. The leaders are, and these guys are barely getting to turn number 3. So they almost have 2 corners advantage of over these guys. So as you can see these guys rocket off turn number 4. Here comes that 3-car pack of the RCR guys and the DEI machine, and then you have this huge pack right behind them. So yeah, if I'm trying to get organized, especially with it being so early, you don't want to get trapped a lap down, obviously. But if I'm these guys racing in the second pack, I'm going to try to get single filed out really quick, try to gain some ground again, kind of not bump draft, I guess you could say, but kind of like touch draft. You know, you can't really slam or bump draft in these cars, just how the way they're made, and the way the bumper that bumper sticks way up in the air. As you can see, the 8 is, I do exactly what that 8 machine is doing. Get up right to his rear end, tap him just a little bit, and then, you know, let off. Another of these things is these cars get a lot hotter than compared to another car that we race on the server, compared to your next gen Xfinity, your truck. So if you stay tucked in for too long, you're going to have overheating issues, and that's going to ruin your day, especially in one of the crown jewel races of it being the Super Bowl.
Yeah, you don't want to start off the season with a big old goose egg DNF here, as Brian Whitney has went up to help the DEI and his fellow teammates of Johnny Taylor and Matty Clark. That's going to leave the other DEI car, the number 8 machine, beautiful paint scheme of that Dale Jr. throwback, as they are looking about 3 wide. Brian Whitney thought of it, but John Thompson got to the wall coming off of turn number 2, and they're going to stay side by side going into 3.
Yeah, if the 29 can just get clear, it looks like the 1's going to drop down in front of the 48. Looks like the 29 is clear for right now, but I know he's going to stick with his teammates up here on the top side of the racetrack. But there is a gap for those guys. So if they finally all got single filed out, it looks like they're all going to start trying to make some headway for this first pack. Looks like they're not going to leave their RCR guys. So the 48's also going to jump up there. So the 31's going to, they're all clear. Looks like they're going to leave the 48. 48 is going to have to tuck back in. But yeah, they got organized pretty quickly on what we were saying, you know, trying to get in line, work together. And so it looks like so far so good. Yeah, they're going to try to make some headway. There's 5 cars here, and you have another 4 or 5 right there. But back here at the front, the 7 and that Alan Kowicki paint, these guys, they're not racing really, really hard. They're just keeping a lot of space between each other. So good, clean racing so far. This is what we wanted to see. This is what we anticipated that would happen. And so far, for me personally, this has gone 10 times better than what the 10 125s were going on last weekend.
Yeah, and I also got to point out, let me get to a different camera angle here. Do you remember that big gap that was between the first and second pack? Well, that first and second pack, or that third pack has now caught the second pack now. So definitely going to see what all these drivers can do here, as they're all forming one big solid line. Maybe they have been listening to what we have been preaching up here. And you see there, Matty Clark leading the charge up here for the second pack. You got Johnny Taylor, Brian Whitney, John Thompson, and then you got Dan Ross in the number 48 machine being shotgun on the field. But then right behind them, you got Mark Sikochi and Justin Cope leading that second pack.
Yeah, that's Sikochi running that Dale Earnhardt Jr. 2005 paint. I really love that paint scheme. I'm a huge Dale Jr. fan, so I'd like to see Sikochi get up there. Every time I see that number 8, it's always a Pied Piper at Daytona and Talladega. So really anticipating to see that 8 try to carry on that Earnhardt legacy here at Daytona tonight. But yeah, looks like they're starting to make a little bit of headway now. Everybody got single filed out. Probably some of these guys have the stream on. I know, Dylan, when you race, you like to have the stream. You can to check in on what the broadcast is saying and what's going on. It also gives you a chance to see any replays of a crash that goes on, and you relay that to us when we're in our Titletown voice chat. So yeah, the front pack still side by side. The 07, Robert Lawrence seems to have control of the field. And then going back, you see that second pack, you know, they're still running about the same lap times as these guys up front. So I do anticipate them, as they all form one big train, catching this front pack, and hopefully we can have a little race out of it, I guess you could say.
Not gonna lie, I think I found the best paint scheme here tonight, and it's got to be this number 36 Skittle scheme. You just don't see it anymore. You want to talk
No.
about you want to talk about throwback? You got three of the best snacks. You got Skittles, you got combos, you got Starburst. What more could you want? I mean, yeah, you don't ever find that here on iRacing to get a nice little throwback like this. And William Brown, maybe he's 1 to 2 laps down here tonight, so he's not really running for position as of yet, but still running good, clean, solid laps. So keeping up with that front pack, trying to get that 1 lap back, as it looks like the number 40 machine is going to take it down to the inside, and he's going to be looking for the lead. He's doing it all by himself.
Yeah, he is doing it all by himself. No help from behind. And so I'm anxious to see if he carried that. He got the draft, carried the momentum, and ducked down to the inside of the racetrack. But nah, looks like he's going to bring the 32 with him as well. And so a lot of these guys getting not pretty racy. They're getting racy, but not as aggressive as we saw last weekend in the 125s. So it looks like they're just biding their time. It looks like trying to get through that first green flag pit stop. And I believe once we get through that first round of green flag pit stops, we're going to see a lot of shuffling going on. The RCR boys, like I said, I know we keep talking about them, Dylan. I know you know them personally, but makes you see when those guys come to pit road. Ooh, the 99 almost entered that corner really wide, almost tagged the wall, entering 3. And that's another thing about these cars, too. Oh no!
Oh, the 07, Robert Lawrence gets turned. We're going to go ahead and load that back up here as the yellow flag is out. We're going to see if we can catch that over here. See exactly what happened, as I'm going to try to get this slowed down for everybody, as it is not working as of yet. So we're going to have to rewind this really quick. See exactly what happened to the number 07, as we're going to ride on board with him. And I think maybe he just got a bad push by the number 2, and that's what it looks like. He's going to get loose coming out of 4. Almost went back down low, but he's going to hit the outside wall. The 2 is going to get collected by the 6. The 42 is going to get collected by the number 2. And they go down below the yellow line. No harm, no foul there, but a lot of damaged race cars.
Yeah, a lot of the 05s, the 07, the 42, and the 2. Yeah, I think it was just a bad bump draft coming off of 4, and one of the things you really cannot do is bump draft in any car coming off the corner or going, mid-corner, as you can say. So probably just honest mistake from the driver of the 2, and then just nowhere for the 2 to go, as he's trying to avoid the 07 and gets tagged in the quarter panel. Oh, and they're wrecking under caution, Dylan, too. And the 88 and the 42 looks like they're involved under that, so curious to see what happened here. 88's just parked in turn number 3. Yeah, that's actually his teammate. So coming over the radio said his screen just went black and it couldn't see where he was going. And that's kind of hard to do, Dylan. When you can't see where you're going on the server, you kind of hard to drive the race car. So that's unfortunate connection issues for the 88, but we're gonna have green flag pit stops, and like I said, unlimited tire sets. We're gonna see who's gonna take tires, and we're gonna see who's just gonna take fuel.
Yeah, as it looks like Brian Wiggins, he's going to be the only one to nominate to stay out here tonight. So the number 5 Tide Bleach machine electing to stay out. That's going to bring the number 11 right behind him, but he's going to possibly get 1 lap back. Not sure who the lucky dog was, or even if the number 11 got involved in that caution. But nonetheless, 18 laps in, and we got our first caution. So without further ado, I think it's time to give a little bit of a shout out here for everybody on CRN that helps CRN grow. Yes, you, the subscribers. I want to say thanks to all 465 subscribers. Without you guys, we couldn't be doing what we love doing. And no matter what, CRN could always showcase your league. Just give us a little bit of a message and we can get back to you. But I want to say thank you to UCRL, NSR, Shane's Super Late Model Showdown, Core Racing, Redline Racing, everybody that lets us broadcast and showcase their leagues. Without you guys, we couldn't do it without you. Make sure you guys hit that thumbs up, share it with your friends, and make sure you guys hit the bell notifications and tune in every single week on CRN, as we have racing all throughout the week. So make sure you guys like, share, subscribe, and we'll always see you at the track.
Yeah, I got actually pulled. As you're doing that, Dylan, that was a perfect opportunity for me to pull up the broadcast too, because that's the only way I can see our YouTube chat. So see some familiar faces in our YouTube chat. See Cody Mitchell. That's a teammate of ours on the MSRL and HTL side of things. Two legends in the booth, Ricky and Dylan. So Cody, appreciate you tuning in tonight. And then this guy, you might know him too, Dylan. My younger brother, Mark Gonzalez, kind of missed his sign-up deadline, so unfortunate for the driver of the 15 not be able to make the first start here tonight. We'll see him probably later on in the season. That's a fast driver, and a lot of these drivers don't know him. But I'm sure he'll make some noise in this league, especially with joining the groups of that DEI stable. They got some good drivers under that team. And then we have an emoji by That's Josh, and then another legendary broadcast booth. So there's some people tuning in. Looks like that's Blake Howell. So appreciate a couple of these guys tuning in, watching us tonight. But it looks like, Dylan, the lights are out on this pace car as we're going into 3. A lot of the drivers still trying to get caught up. Looks like some of them are still electing to take damage on pit road, but we're set to go green this time by.
Yeah, looks like the number 40 of Aaron Jackson is going to be able to inherit the lead, as the 5 had a little bit of connection issues, and he just went bye-bye. Not sure what happened to him, but it is going to be Aaron Jackson and Brandon Bass, your front row, as we're going to go ahead and move up to the flagger, as Barney has the green flag. And Ricky, we're going to let you send these drivers away.
Yeah, here we go. Pace car is going to dive off on the pit road this time. The field is in the control of the number 40 and the 32. We are back to green flag racing here in Daytona. And so far, so good. You see the 11 right there coming across on the apron. He's just going to elect to go to the back of the field. But yeah, so far, so good. We're going to get a little racy this run now. So good to see these drivers start to pick up the pace a little bit. I know we're still early on. As this gopher cam sees them all flying down into turn number 2. Looks like the 40 is actually going to have control of this field as they head off onto the backstretch, and it's going to be the 40 and 32 side by side.
Yeah, looking like the number 3 of Johnny Taylor is going to dip out of that front pack. Going to go to the back. Same with his RCR teammate of Brian Whitney. And it's all Brandon Bass up front with William Martin on the outside. But he's got the number 40 of Aaron Jackson all over his back bumper. Then we got the Alan Kulicki scheme. And that number 7 machine trying to make his way up here as Aaron Jackson decides, no, I'm not going to follow you. I want to get that one lap led.
They're going to do the old school point system like they did in back in the day here, before we even had the chase. 5 bonus points, that gets you for a lap led, and then 5 extra bonus points if you lead the most laps. I still haven't had a chance to read the rules. Work has been super busy this week, but it looks like the 40 was able to make its way. Oh, 99 in the wall. The 40 is going to be able to take control of this race. No help from the rear for the 32, and look at there's the 8 car, as we said earlier in the broadcast. He's finally made his way to the front. Looks like some of these RCR boys have moved back to the back of the pack, as you see Johnny Taylor in that 3 car. He's lost this drive, but it looks like he has a little bit of help behind him. But yeah, these guys are battling up front. They're battling pretty hard because they want to lead laps, and there's so much on the line with it being just the first race of the season. And there's a buddy we know right there in the 12. Mark Thomas, Muffin Man, as he's known in core. He was actually about to go a lap down. That caution kind of saved him, able to gather everything back up, use pit strategy to his advantage, probably elected to take fuel only, and look at him. He's already battling here in the top 10.
Yeah, back in the back, though, with the number 43. This is going to be 3 wide, as I'm going to look at Shane Wielden. He was 3 wide going down the backstretch with the number 40, or the 88, and the number 07 of Robert Lawrence. They were able to suction it out all the way through, and there goes Andrew. Or Alexander Encarnacio. He's going to go down into the wall, and we're going to go ahead and see if we just can't get that on the replay here. See what happened with the number 35 as he he got a bad push from the number 88. 88 just didn't lift. How bad does he hit that inside wall? Not a ton. Gonna get that car backed up and get ready to go back again, as that is a tough break for the number 35.
Yeah, you can see there's not a lot of damage to that front end, so that's good news for him. But on the rear, you can tell there's a little bit of damage on the right side of that number 35 Tabasco Pontiac Grand Prix. But yeah, just probably another bad bump draft gone wrong. The driver came over the radio, apologized profusely. Didn't mean to do that. We're gonna stay green though it was just a single car spin. As we're taking a look here at the 88 of Mark Cook. That was the other driver that was involved here with the 35.
He's got that high side rolling. He is.
Yeah, he's making some time. That's the one thing I noticed too, is he was making some time on that outside lane.
Yeah, you see everybody up here in the front pack just try to jockey for position, find any hole that they can make it into, and everybody is trying to get as much positions as they possibly can, looking at the turn 4 exit, and then all the way down to the pit or gopher cam, as everybody's going to get as close to that camera as they possibly can, almost running over it, but still, nonetheless, still side by side for lap number 25.
They're going to run over that gopher cam. They might want to send the bill to Jimmy Covert. So that way we can pay for a new camera. But yeah, they're still side by side. We're here in a big group. There's really not a second pack, as you could say, like we had in that first stint. But these guys some of these guys electing to go straight to the back. There's a 31. There's the 07. I know the 8 was up there for a little bit. He was battling for a top 5 position. He's electing to kind of slide on back. So a lot of these guys are already playing the strategy game. Look at this run.
Oh! That was a super close call by the number 01 of Nick Cannon, as he went from the outside down to the inside, go to follow behind that newcomer Austin Rhodes, and they're going to try to make a dash for the front here, as the 24 and 42 are stuck on the outside.
The 24 and the 42, and it looks like the 75 too is also stuck on the outside. But yeah, the 01 had such a huge run coming off of the corner that it almost collected a 10.
Look at that 3 wide. The 42 thought about making it 3 wide with the number 24. Got to his inside, didn't feel confident enough, as he always smacks the wall, getting it into number 3 and 4, and he's just going to keep it up there to let everybody go by.
He's able to keep. Oh, we got a spin near the front. Caution's out. The 40's involved. The 99's involved. The 1 is involved. The 88 is now involved. The 24 is going to be involved. There's a lot of cars. We have one stuck on their roof. I have to take a look and see what happened as you're going through trying to find what's going on. But yeah, that's just an unfortunate set of events. Looks like it's another bum draft gone wrong.
Yeah, we're going to go ahead and...
I'm not really sure.
Slow it on down, get a better camera angle of it. Yeah, bad bump gone wrong. You can see the rear tires come up off the ground. Muffin Man narrowly missing it, along with Alan Kowicki, number 7, and right into the number 99. The 1 nowhere to go. So the 40 and 99 are going to go tumbling like Rusty Wallace and Cale Yarbrough. And you hate to see it, especially this early in the race. Like you said earlier in the broadcast, get all that time practicing just to have your car upside down. Oh, the 88 gets involved again. Try to keep it out of pit lane. The 42, by the hair on his chinny chin, getting around that.
Yeah, I'm looking at the 8 right there, making sure he got around it. Not sure if he. Looks like he did. Almost collecting the 1, almost collecting his teammate. So it looks like a lot of these guys are going to be able to miss. Oh, and then here comes the 88. Sliding down the baking here in the trial. 48's going to get by. Going to give him a chance to hopefully fix the rear end of that race car. I know he got caught up under the parade lap incident. But yeah, I believe that's just another bump draft gone wrong. He's trying to stay in control of the field. I just think it's too early for that kind of stuff right there, Dylan. And ultimately, it's just a really bad set of events that happened with the 40. Hopefully he can fix his car. He doesn't have too much damage. I know he tossed seat and turbied, and we got a whole pack of cars on pit road trying to find their box. Everybody electing to come down pit road.
Yeah, and that's another thing. You know, you have 30-plus drivers out here. And to me, personally, I like the bright colors on my pit sign, so I know exactly which one of mine is. I'll never miss it. You know, some people out there like to have their big old fat face on it, you know. other drivers like you. I believe yours is like a neon, maybe, and
Yeah,
your
mine's
number.
neon yellow. Yep, it has neon yellow with a big Speedy Gonzalez logo on it. So and also for me, I have Race Labs, and so I know there's a lot of software programs out there that drivers like to use. I personally like to use Race Labs, and so I actually have the pit counter that tells me how far I am from my pit box. I've been in a server like this where there's so many drivers and necessarily like your pit box blinks in and out, so you really can't see when you're supposed to be stopping. And so I have that pit limiter that tells me how fast I'm going, and then it tells me how far away from the pit box. So that way I just know when to hit my marks and when to come down pit road.
Yeah, you bring up a good point about the different softwares. You use Race Labs, I use sim racing apps. I have a little pit board that lets me know if I'm speeding in pit road. It also counts down my pit stall box as well. So a lot of different technology out there for your iRacing career to get that in there. Got to give a big shout out, though, to another man on the server. He is a Coke driver that actually built some of these setups out here every week. That's going to be Michael Conti. Michael Conti is a Coke Series driver that Johnny Taylor and Matty D. Clark got a hold of and is going to make the season setups for a good price. So head over to www.raceepi.com and grab your Gen 4 open setup just for this league. And
another thing with Conti too is that this is actually his last season running in the Coke Series, so likes to go out with a bang. Hopefully he can win a championship for the junior motorsports side of things. I know he drives that famed number, the number 8 for junior motorsports. Him and Kevin King are on the same team this season. King in the 88 replacing Briar LaPrade. And so, yeah, I know Conti's had an up and down season. I know he started really, really strong. They just finished up Monza, which was kind of weird seeing the next gen racing around that place with no chicanes. And that was actually a really fantastic race. I was able to go back and watch that stuff. And I usually watch those broadcasts, Dylan, because I like to get some feedback and see how those guys are broadcasting a race, so I can bring it over here to the CRN side of things. And then obviously watching the Fox stuff and some of the NBC past broadcasts, kind of just pick their brain. And then Caleb Collins actually said this on Tuesday after the broadcast. You going back and watch some old MRN radio races, aren't you? And I'm maybe just a little bit, just so I could get used and get comfortable of calling the races alongside with you.
Yeah, nonetheless, though, pace car going to dip down into pit lane. Brandon Bass going to lead these guys to the green flag. And we are back to racing here for another little bit of a long green flag stint as Brandon Bass got a big jump out on the field. He's going to lead these guys back to green.
Yeah, back into turn 1. You don't want to get a huge gap. He has Muffin Man right behind him. And you here at these plate tracks, you don't want to get a big enough lead because you're just being the sucker hole before you know it. But able to keep it right on the tailgate of that 32 is the 12, and then right behind him is a 36. So the 36 looks like he was able to get one of his lap back. And now he's already running here in the top 5. Electing to use strategy when some of these guys are coming down pit road, probably topping off every single time. But they're still side by side as they head up on the 3. It's going to be the 32 on the inside, the 6 on the outside, and then we have the 01 and the 12 battling for position. But it looks like that inside line is a little bit more organized. They're going to carry that momentum. But the 6 says, hold on, wait a minute. I'm trying to get up here and lead a lap. I want 5 extra bonus points to go towards that championship early on here in the season, and they're still going to be duking it out as they head into 1.
Yeah, the 6 is the first shootout winner here this season, so he already knows what it's like to be up towards the front. The 12 of Mark Thomas back up here trying to lead a couple laps of this thing as we got Barry Kistler, our famed Barry Kistler out there in the chat that said would love to see the Muffin Man out front at the end of this race. And Ricky, you and I both know we'd love to see that Muffin Man get up there in the podium spot to get our favorite interview from him, as it's always a blast having Mark Muffin Man Thomas up here in the broadcast booth.
Yeah, people don't know about Muffin Man. He's, at least for me, he's 8 hours time difference between Texas and where he is, or I believe it's 6 hours. I can't remember. It's one of the two. But Muffin Man staying up late for this time. It's only 8 o'clock here in Texas. I know it's 9 o'clock for you in Indiana, but Yeah, Muffin Man staying up late for this one and doing a really good job of staying up front so far. And yeah, he's one of our core members that we do every other broadcast. I don't know, he does the GT side and the truck side, so I definitely pulling on. I know we're not supposed to have any cheering on anybody or like biased opinions of like that, but I'd love to see Thomas win this race. He's trying to get better on the oval side of things. We know he's a famed road course racer. And he's trying to get this side taken care of, the oval side, trying to get it taken care of being really, really phenomenal at that, as he's going to slide up just a little bit, trying to get a little side draft from the 7. And you can side draft in these cars, Dylan, but you can't really side draft like you can in the next gen.
Yeah, side draft isn't really that huge here, as Brian Wiggins gonna make it 3 wide here. Not gonna back out of it, but the number 14 of Lucas, he's going to be able to get around him as the 24 throws a big block on the number 42, as he's going to make it 3 wide, going to enter way high. No contact there for the number 42 of Jacob Peak, as he's going to try to muster up another run on that number 24.
Yeah, 24. Here comes a 1 down pit road. Probably has a lot of damage. But yeah, the 24 and the 42 playing a little cat and mouse game with each other. I know track position is key, but at a place like this, you can go from the front to the back in 10 laps, to say the least. So not really sure if they got beef from previous seasons or what. But interesting to see that 24 starting to throw blocks only 35 laps into this race. As we take a look here on the onboard of the number 3 car, he's just electing to go straight to the back again. So smart strategy by those guys. And I'm going to say it all race, Dylan. I'm going to just chill in the back. Let these guys wreck each other up front. You've already seen some crashes that happened. The latest caution was one with the leader. And then we had one in that second group, I believe. I'm trying to remember, actually, even though it happened, 10 minutes ago?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely going to be something to watch here. And, I think what Johnny Taylor and the RCR guys are doing is just getting a feel for what they can do early on. A lot of these drivers out here are just out here just to pace themselves. But I think Johnny and all the RCR guys are sitting there trying to master up some runs to see what their cars can do, whether they're in the draft or not in the draft. And you see them. They go from the back to the front really quick. And then once they get up to the front, they're going to drop to the rear. So later in the race, you're going to see those RCR cars form a good, solid line and work their way up to the front.
Exactly. You can just see how massive the runs are in these cars. I mean, you're almost going 200 mile an hour in the draft. You can see the 36 laying back here. Probably hit 3 car widths from the back bumper of that 12 machine, and then you can just see him. Look at the run he can carry going into 1, and then he's going to suck up right to the back bumper. But the previous lap, he was probably 6-7 car lengths, and then just able to close in on the back bumper of the 12 and do a really good job. And you see Thomas, he's starting to give a little bit of gap. So a lot of these guys giving notice, giving a lot of room. They know that's a long event here tonight. So Thomas electing just to hang out for a little bit. If he can stay within that 0.5 to a second gap, 36 gonna slide right in front of the 12. And you just keep that distance of yes, I still got the draft, but yet I don't. I believe you're gonna see some of these guys here at the end are gonna prevail and try to win the race. But you can't win it on lap 37.
Oh.
No, we got a little swirling, no connection issues actually for the 7. Not really sure what happened.
That looked like the 5, I believe, of Brian Wiggins. He's going to go all the way down to the inside. Not sure what happened to him, but looking at the number 36, he has hit 202 mile an hour. Down to the backstretch, going so far 198. 198 is the max that he was able to hit there, just due to catching up to the draft. So you're going to see speeds up and over 200 mile an hour, and it's definitely going to be a good one to watch as the 42 comes right back down in front of the number 36. 36 taking evasive maneuvers to keep this race green.
Yeah, I believe the 42 just wanted to get around the 24.
The 48.
The 48 on the apron, actually. Not really sure what happened to him. And he's like crawling around the apron on turn number 1. But I'm pretty sure the 42 just wanted to get around the 24, especially with them playing that cat and mouse game earlier, about a couple laps ago. Able to get it looks like the 48 though, able to get around the 24. So the 48 rolling, not really sure what happened to him. I'm not sure if he had like a motor issue or something. But yeah, the 24 now electing to also looks like he's going to slide to the back. He's going to try to get out of this little hornet's nest. But yeah, up front, the 6 and the 32 are now side by side. And it looks like the 7, the 09, the 01, this is a good little pack. As you can see, Thomas right there in the back of the frame. There's a lot of drivers in this pack that are racing really, really hard and trying to get, as you can see, the 32 trying to come down, get a little bit of side draft from the 6. And I'm not really sure, Dylan, how bad is the net code in these cars. We saw on Tuesday night when we were in the booth, and you're actually on the track. The net code in the trucks were super crazy compared to those of the next gen. So I'm anxious to, and I'm curious, is the net code as bad in the Gen 4 as it is in that truck?
Honestly, I haven't ran any of the Gen 4 stuff. I've been just sticking to, what I know best. That's going to be the next gen and the truck. So, when we ran Daytona last week for the core Arkham Menard series, and there was a little bit of net code. It's definitely there, but it's not as vicious as it is with the truck. So that's going to be something to play as, we go to the new Atlanta next week. So another super speedway type track, and definitely going to be a fun one to watch. But out front, is that number 6 machine going to get clear of the number 32? And look at that, the number 7 of Chad in that Alan Kowicki machine, he's going to be tugging all the way around up here. And then you got the number 01 of Nick Cannon.
Yeah, and one thing I've noticed so far watching this front pack is the inside lane has the momentum going into the corner, but the outside lane's able to carry the speed off of the corner. And so you could see there, the 6 was able to lead the lap, but I mean, the 6 was clear when he came in and led the lap at the start-finish line. And look at there, right before they got into 1, the 32 was able to get to the quarter panel of the 6, and he's actually doing it by himself, no help. As here he's going to kill. Looks like the 09 is not electing to do a bump draft. He's just going to tuck in right on that back bumper. And here it is, Dylan. This is what I was saying. The 6 was able to clear the 32, but I guarantee you before they head off into 1, that 32 is going to be side by side with the 6 before it's all said and done.
Yeah, already side by side with the number 7. As the 01 kind of slid up just a little bit, trying to hinder his exit off the corner. But like you said, side by side with the number 6. And the 6 is always going to have the advantage going into the corner, but the advantage is going to go to the outside. It looks like we have about 9 cars on the inside, and you have 3 on the out.
Yeah, and that's another thing that I was looking at too is during the 125s, a car could be on the outside and kind of just move the air a little bit, as you could say. And he was able to keep pace with those front guys, which was really surprising to me compared to other machines that are on the server as well. But yeah, the 32 not going away. He's going to try to lead this lap. We're going to come down to the line. He's actually no, he's not. Oh, he is. So the 32, credit him with a lap lead. He was able to lead that lap down, and Dylan, we're closing in on the quarter mark. Only 2 cautions so far, so that's still phenomenal from these drivers. And going back to the 5, looks like he dropped packet loss. So a little internet connection for the driver of the 5. So that's unfortunate. He was running up here in the top 5 and then the top 10 early on in this race. But yeah, closing on the quarter mark. We're gonna hopefully get a long green flag run this time. I would love to see the green flag pit stops when it comes down to do those. But 65 laps around the famed Daytona International Speedway, that's a long way to go.
Yeah, definitely going to be a long way to go here. It looks like the number 24 having a little bit of issues going into turn number 1 and 2 with connection, but nonetheless, everybody's still side by side, giving enough room to have it be a little bit racy. And you see it here, everybody's still 2 by 2, a couple of drivers looking to make it 3 wide, but nonetheless still trying to make it happen as everybody is trying to get down to the inside.
Yeah, everybody's now trying to get to the bottom of that yellow line. Ooh, the 36. Clipping the apron there is something you definitely don't want to do, as you see these guys scream off turn number 4. And the 43 almost collecting our gopher cam here as it come through the tri-oval this time. And everybody giving a lot of room, not going to lie, a lot of room and a lot of patience so far. just a couple of mistakes early on for those 2 cautions, 2 bump drafts that went wrong. But so far, Dylan, these drivers, their head is in the right space. I'm a big fan of these guys being patient, not making moves to left and right to try to, take control of this field. So it's good to see the product so far that these NSR guys are putting on here for our first points race of the season.
Yeah, Jacob Peak at the number 42, able to get all the way up to the lead. Not going to be able to lead this lap as he is he's got the number 2 of Daniel Mulnix pushing him across the line. So Jacob Peak, give him that 1 lap lead, but we are about 4 laps away from the first quarter of this race. I think, Ricky, it's about time we turn down the mics, turn up the cars, and give these fans a little bit of "You Love to Hear It."
Yeah, so we're coming back from the "You Love to Hear It." There's a big crash that just happened. Looks like they're exited turn number 2. The 31's going to be involved. The 8 is involved. The 43 is involved. A lot of carnage going on here. Looks like the 10 got into the 14.
Yeah, the 14 got hit by the 10. The 6, the 7 gets tagged. The 24, the 31, the 12, nowhere to go. Locks up. Actually, you know what? If Mark Thomas, I was about to say Mark Thomas got to the wall, got up underneath of another driver, and Brad Whitney involved. The 35, nowhere to go as the 12 comes down, smacks him. The 12 of Mark Thomas gets up and over, and Matty D. Clark up on his side, able to get it back down. And Ricky, that's pretty much all of the field. I think that was turn 3 and 4, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, it's definitely going to be a good one here tonight. As you hate to see a big wreck like that this early in the race, as everybody is still trying to get around. And I think, if this man, Robert Lawrence, got through this wreck with no problems at all, this is going to be absolutely amazing for this number 7 machine. And we're going to play this in real time.
Yeah, so during the 125s, he was able to bring that car to a screeching halt. So let's see. Yep, he's just going to stay in the middle of the racetrack.
Robert Lawrence.
This man. Let me tell you about this man.
Yeah, Robert Lawrence came down to pretty much a dead stop. Let everybody go on by, had a little bit of arc of braking going on, but nonetheless, let everybody go by. It was able to not get hit or hit anybody in that whole fiasco.
I don't have the words, Dylan. I don't have the words.
I don't know what to say. Like, that is absolutely crazy.
He locked him up just a little bit. I saw that. Locked him up, almost slid into the turn 2 wall. But no, nonetheless, he's able to keep it rolling. And Look at this, Dylan. A lot of these drivers now coming to pit road as we're hitting the quarter mark, lap number 50 here in our 200 lap race. Every single driver now has come down pit road, top off of fuel, probably take 4 fresh Goodyear tires and gonna rack them all back up and gonna try to do this again.
Yeah, that was an absolute crazy wreck there. Is a lot of drivers were involved in, then you have Robert Lawrence saying, all right, do, going nice and slow. And I wish I could do that. Okay, like half the time I slow up for a wreck and I still somehow get involved. So whatever Robert Lawrence is doing out here, he needs to just keep doing it because it's obviously working for him. But, like you said, it is our quarter way of the race. And if anybody out there has a favorite driver that they want to see more of, just let us know in the comment section. We will do our best to get that driver on our cameras. And if you're rooting for anybody out there, we want to hear your suggestions on who you got for the race. 150 laps left. So drop those recommendations down in the comment section. Give me your favorite driver and give me your dark horse. As Ricky, now I'm going to turn to you. We've already seen 50 laps through this race. Give me a dark horse. Give me a favorite.
Yeah. So the favorite is probably going to be somebody in that RCR stable. And then my dark horse, and I know I'm supposed to pick one driver. It's going to be somebody from that RCR stable. I just, they've been fast all the 2 races that I was able to see for the 125s. And then I was able to check in the action a little bit during the shootout. I wasn't able to watch. Had something going on that time. But my dark horse, I'm gonna take the 12. I'm gonna get Muffin Man. I believe he's trying to get better on the oval side of things, and so I believe he's gonna be my dark horse pick to win this race.
Yeah, I think favorite's gonna be one of the RCR guys. They're all.
It's just hard to pick one.
Yeah. It is. Like, they all work very well together. And, they're up there. You got Johnny Taylor. You got Matty D. Clark. You got Brian Whitney. And then you also got Robert Lawrence. I believe Brian Whitney may be out of the race due to losing that front bumper. So maybe he's out of this thing with the whole shebang. So if I had to pick one RCR driver, I would have to go with Johnny Taylor. But my dark horse is going to be the man that started on the front row. That's going to be the number 35 of Alexander Encarnacio. He's been bad fast for those 3 weeks. And tonight he's shown it again as we're getting ready to go back green here. Not everybody is caught back up, but it is the 42 and 32 leading these gentlemen back to the green flag. And it's still a dead heat. Side by side goes everybody.
Yeah, it looks like a lot of these drivers still fixing damage, and not a lot of them were able to catch back up to the pack. So we're going to have a pack of here, it looks like 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11, 12. There's 14 drivers in this front pack. But if I'm the second pack and even that third pack, as they're entering 1, now it looks like they're going to be heading off of 2. You got to get lined up pretty quick. I know there's still a long way to go. Oh, and the 36 going to clear the 42. And the 32 is going to put the block on the 36. So those guys are going to move down to the bottom of the racetrack. Oh, and the 3 almost getting collected
by that number 42. And look at that. As I was talking about Brian Whitney not having a front bumper, he said, what bumper? Look at this. He's up here towards the front. As actually, no, he is possibly a lap down. So Brian Whitney, not sure what's going on with that number 29 machine. As, yeah, he is in 18th position. 1 lap down, so he's just up here helping Johnny Taylor get up to the front, as it looks like Brandon Bass is going to try to control both lanes. He's going to bring those RCR cars up to the front, and they're going to go ahead and get around the number 36 as they're going to drop down to the inside.
It looks like the outside lane is starting to decompress. Well, it was starting to decompress. Here comes a 3 now, a familiar face in this series. And the 3, synonymous here at Daytona with the legacy that car had. He's able to clear the 32, and he's going to be in control of this race. And I'm really anxious to see now is if the 29 is going to elect to try to pass the 3, the way he can put himself back on the lead lap. That way he doesn't have to worry about getting the lucky dog, or if he's just content on riding, he is in that lucky dog position as we're coming up to a bunch of stragglers that just lost the draft, wasn't able to get caught up to the field. You see them all move to the outside, all going to try to fill lanes. They're going to be three wide, and they're going to no harm, no foul. So they're able to clear that. But yeah, now the outside lane just seems to be gone for the most part, and they're all going to try to get single filed out and try to probably just ride along for the next 50 laps.
Yeah, the 36 trying to get down to the inside, wasn't fully clear of that number 09, had to keep it up on the high side. Now he's going to be clear, and now's where you want to make that move down to the inside. You don't want to be stuck on the outside all by yourself, as looky Robert Lawrence up here, the number 07, he's going to make his way up to the front here. So you got 3 RCR cars up towards the front. Matty D. Clark in that back group with the number 28, as he had substantial damage in that last wreck up on his side, and he's going to try to find his way back up here towards the front, as Robert Lawrence has passed the number 42. The 36 is going to go to the outside of the number 09. That's going to allow the 07 of Robert Lawrence to get to the inside of that number 36 if he can get there in time, and it looks like he will.
Lawrence able to yeah, he's there. He's going to be on the inside. The 09 electing to take the outside lane. And a big checkup on the bottom due to the slow car. So everybody.
The 09 gets turned. The 09. He saved. Oh, wow.
That 09 saved it. It's going to merge back onto the back straightaway. So no harm, no foul.
Robert Lawrence down to the inside. Moving that 36 up like, hey, yeah, buddy, I'm there. I'm taking that position whether you like it or not. Robert Lawrence trying to make his way back up to the front here, as it looks like the top 3 actually, have pulled away to a little bit of a gap between them. So Robert Lawrence side by side with that number 42 as he is trying to make his way up to that top 4.
Lawrence trying to get up there with his RCR teammates. If he can try to get around the 36, here comes the 10 now, trying to help him get pushed to the front. And the top 3 have kind of just checked out a little bit. Not a huge gap though, but another group as a dark horse that I'm wanting to see do really, really well, and that's those Petty Enterprise boys. So Shane Wilson, Jacob Capelin, Alexander Encarnacio, and then Robert Engelman. I know he's a Joe Gibbs driver, but he's in that voice chat with them. But these Petty boys, you know, they're doing exactly what I would be doing, and I'm a fan of that. And so I think these Petty boys are going to be up there when it's all said and done also.
Yeah, they may be up there, and as we're going to be looking back here with the number 31 of Matty D. Clark, as you see there, he's got a lot of damage on that rear end, but right behind them, a big run from the number 2 of Daniel Molnix and the number 01. As the 01 slaps the wall there, he's going to lose the draft to the number 2, as Nick Cannon going to fall in line behind Matty D. Clark, going to help push him up here to the front pack. And just in front of them, going to the backstretch, is going to the number 08 and the number 4 of Craig Hawkins.
As we take a look here, you can see a little bit of damage to that number 8 car, and then the 4, that's Hawkins. So the coach, even though he has damage to that race car, front end's all crinkled, so I'm pretty sure he'd like to probably get around. The 4 would probably want to get around. And the 8 would probably have to be the pusher just because of the aerodynamics of that race car. If not, they're just going to lose so much time. As you see, they're already halfway down the backstretch, and then these guys are just now entering 1. But Dylan, another thing I would look at is, I want you to go back to the front of this pack. I want you to see who's all lined up nose to tail, the first 3 guys.
RCR domination here, as it is Johnny Taylor, Robert Lawrence, and Brian Whitney. Brian Whitney not battling for position here, but 3 RCR cars, 1, 2, 3, and then in 3rd place, respectively, is that number 32, followed along with William Brown in P number 4. And rounding out your top 5, the number 10 not making a lot of noise out here in the early going, but rounding out your top 5 is going to be Austin Rhodes.
We're 60 laps into this race, so almost closing in on over 40 laps away, but about to close in on halfway, and we're making good time in this race. You know, 60 laps, about an hour worth of time. So I'm curious to see in another 6 minutes what lap we're going to be on. But this race is going by pretty quickly compared to what happened last week. That race felt like it took eternity to run. But yeah, we're making some good time here tonight. Hopefully we're on the right path to trajectory. But yeah, so far these guys are all lined up, and look at there on the back end of that pack of that Petty Enterprise car, and I've said it once, I'm gonna say it again. Those guys got to be the dark horse, those Petty guys, and I believe so that they will be there at the end. Little moment earlier in the race. Looks like the 43 was with them for a little bit. It looks like he's coming off of 2 right now, so he lost the lead pack. These guys, but yeah, the 44 has kind of been there all night. He's kind of just chilled on the back end of these guys, and so far so good. That 44 machine and that Hot Wheels machine doing a really good job of just keeping your name with the leaders and just riding along.
Yeah, riding along that he is doing. He is one of the Petty Enterprises that is up 12 positions from where he has started. So a good night here for him. But the biggest mover is going to be, it looks like, the number 36 of William Brown, up 26 positions. Starting from the back of the pack all the way up to the front. So looking like it could possibly be a 30 position gained here for the number 36 machine. The biggest loser so far would be the number 40 of Aaron Jackson, minus 20 positions for that number 40 machine, as he was involved in that first incident there, sent him barrel rolling down the backstretch. And there we go, the 36 in the 10, 2 teammates rolling that outside, trying to get around the RCR train.
And the 44 is going to jump to the outside also. He's going to try to get some positions gained. And the 36 looking to try to take the lead. Sorry about that, Dylan. I was listening to what RC was saying. So no harm, no foul. He's just, the 29 just holding his line, not really doing anything, impeding the guys, even though it is a super speedway. But I mean, he has every single right to be up there trying to get his lap back if he wants it. So he's not impeding anybody, he's not slowing anybody up. And so far so good. These RCR boys controlling the field so far. Looks like the 44 wanted to go with these guys on the outside, and they're just not making enough time to get around these guys.
Yeah, you had 5 cars down to the inside, 3 on the outside, as now it has abandoned to 2 cars on the outside, 6 cars down to the inside. And it always comes down to, if you were Johnny Taylor, you've seen that 36 coming up, and he got alongside of the second place person of Robert Lawrence, would you throw the block to slow the momentum down on that outside, or would you just stay up down on the inside with your teammates to keep them rolling?
I think later on in the race, I would probably do it, when we're coming, especially if it's a last lap. You want every position, especially if you're in a position to win the race. You got to do what you got to do to try to do that. But for right now, I'd let them just do what they want to do. If they want to get up there, try to lead a lap, as you see a car merging here. So all these guys looks like they got single file coming around our pole sitter right here. You can see the damage on that Tabasco machine. But looks like all these guys have got single filed out. And they're coming up on more lap traffic. You can see the 2. Looks like it's going to be the group of the 2, the 31, and I can't remember who that other machine was with that 3-car pack, because you see the 44 now diving to the inside of the 36. He's going to try to take that position away. And so the 36 now, as at one time was battling for the lead, he's going to be on the caboose of this train, as he has the 10. If he can get down in front of the 10, and he successfully does, he's going to fill that gap. And so the 36, once battling for the lead, is now the back of this train. And yeah, that's all. These guys are now single filed out.
Yeah, looking at it now, it looks like the 11 is going to be slow going down the backstretch into turn number 3 and 4. Going to see what's going on with the number 11 of Robert Engelman, as he's got a little bit of damage on that right side. Not sure if that was a prior incident or if it just happened there, but he is losing a lot of time here ever so slowly. But back up front, it is Johnny Taylor still with the race lead, as he's coming up on one of his RCR teammates, Matty D. Clark, going to put him another lap down.
You see, there's that group of 3 right there, the 01, the 2, and the 31. So if these guys can get on the tail end of this train, You know, you can see right in front of them, there's even more damaged race cars and more lap traffic. These guys are going to have to navigate through. Everybody going to move to the high side of the racetrack. Going to put these guys another lap down. I believe the 2 is now going to be in the position of the lucky dog. Oh no, the two is actually scored in the 12th position. So I don't know if that's right, Dylan. He's just going to be going a lap down.
Yeah, so in 12th, it is Daniel Molnix, as Brian Whitney would be the lucky dog if the caution were to come out. He needed to pass Daniel Molnix to get that lucky dog position. That he did, and you see there, all 3 RCR with the addition of the 42 and the 32 going back down to the inside, going to lead the 44 Alp to dry by himself as Jacob Copland gets into the wall coming off of turn number 4, and he's going to be able to slide it back down, and you know, now he's going to play catch up with these front runners.
Yeah, you can see the 31 with a huge run on the outside, and here comes the 01 too. From the 44, just keep it at the bottom of the racetrack for right now. I'm going to take a look at that right side. Not as bad. It's a little scrape, like a little Darlington touch, and so he's able to continue that drive on. And it looks like all these guys now, yep, they're going to move to the high side of the racetrack, put some more cars a lap down. That's going to be the 12 of Mark Thomas, and then the 99, he's going to go a lap down as well. And they're going to all move down to the bottom of the racetrack after they put them a lap down. And so Thomas now is going to try to battle with the 29 and try to be that car that is the first car 1 lap down. So it looks like Dylan, it sounds from the look of things and looking at your SDK, it only looks like we have 11 cars on the lead lap.
Yeah, 11 cars on the lead lap as of right now. As we take a look down here, we have 10 cars on the lead lap, as Brian Whitney not able to get around our race leader. As I'm going to go ahead and bring up the interval here so you guys can see exactly what the gap is actually. And there we have it, top 10 on the lead lap, 11th on down, 1, 2, 3 laps down. So a lot of good racing here. Keeping it green. The 12 almost gets up into the number 36. That's going to be Mark Thomas. Got a little bit tight on exit there. Thought better of it. Got back down to the inside, and we're going to stay green.
Yeah, staying green. So only 10 cars now on the lead lap. It looks like now they just put another one down, so it's going to be 9 cars on the lead lap as we're coming to lap 71. So almost 30 laps until we're officially halfway. So it looks like we went about 68 laps within that first hour, Dylan. So making a really good time here in the Daytona 500 for the first race of the season. And so far, Dylan, we have 23 people now watching the stream here on CRN. So for those 23 people, if you haven't already, please make sure you click that, click the bell notification and get some notifications for when CRN goes live. If you haven't already, like, share, and subscribe to everyone that's out there. Your grandma, your aunt, your cousin, your sister, your dog. If they have a YouTube channel, share it with them. Make sure they catch us every time we're on broadcast. And now Dylan, there's more cars that are looking to go a lap down. The 8, Kochi Merkel, the 09. And then I believe the 10, the 10's already up here in the lead pack. So yeah, looking to have 7 cars now on the lead lap. We're not even halfway in this event, and that's remarkable to see 7 cars possibly just on the lead lap before halfway.
Yeah, looking at it now, we're still 9 cars on the lead lap, as Mark Sakochi is going to be the next car going 1 lap down. And with the RCR train running, that's going to help out the number 29 of Brian Whitney. Brian Whitney needs to catch Mark Sakochi, get around him, and he'll be P number 9. So the 29 battling adversity out here, getting it back up here to the front. And, you know, we're not even halfway yet, and we're seeing a lot of good driving here as Mark Sakochi going to stick it down to the inside. He's going to go 1 lap down, and it's still Johnny Taylor and Robert Lawrence up here towards the front.
Are so good. The RCR boys still being able to keep control of this race. Nobody electing. I know the 32 probably would like to get around the 29 as fast as he can. I definitely know the 2 wants to get up there with the 29 so they can be he can be the first car one lap down. But a lot of heavy hitters so far going one lap down. Sokochi, Molnix, Whitney's lap down. Engelman's 3 laps down. Encarnacio, he's 1 lap down. So a lot of these heavy hitters and possibly some of your favorites to win this Daytona 500 are trapped 1 lap down. As you know, they can just possibly get on the back of this train with these guys. You know, Thomas is able to do that. The 48 hopefully is able to do that. So is Sokochi. But I do believe Sokochi's going to need a couple of cautions just to be able to fix that front end. As you can see, these guys coming off a 4, they're going to be able to catch more lap traffic. So the 35 looks like he's in danger of going another lap down. He'll put him 2 laps down. And so, like we said, Dylan, going back to it, a lot of heavy hitters so far are going a lap down.
Yeah, and I think we're going to send that bill for that Gopher Cam to Dan Ross for running it clean plumb over there as watching the Digger Cam going into pit lane. And already the 35 going to go another lap down here as he's got to have a little bit of engine damage here as he's not able to keep up with the pack. And, you know, we got some more battling going deep backer in the pack is going to be the 4 and the 31 tandeming together. You got Stoney Bedfield and looks like the number 6 of William Britton. They're going to be side by side in help, or not side by side, but they're going to be nose to tail helping each other as well. And then back here, if I can find them, it's going to be the number 09 and the 09, 43, and it looks like the 14 all together.
Yeah, it looks like those guys are a little 3-car pack going on right here. And so the field, they've done a really good job getting around lap traffic. So there was a lot of people involved in earlier wrecks, and these guys are just keeping it to the bottom of the racetrack. You know, no harm. They're coming over the radio asking where these guys are supposed to be, and they're communicating. So it's really good to see that. But yeah, most of the time when you catch lap traffic, especially at a super speedway, you can get caught up in, I guess you could say, a big one. But so far, Dylan, the leaders have done a phenomenal job of when they're able to go to the high side or when they were able to go to the bottom and pass these lap cars, and nobody seems to be taking it really, really hard racing, I guess you can say. But yeah, so far this thing they're doing a really good job tonight, and it's good to see a good product race out there, especially with this being their Daytona 500, their Super Bowl, as you can say, for every race.
Yeah, and now it comes down to pit cycles.
Yep.
The dreaded pit cycle. You know, yes, we had a couple of cautions there, so all these drivers are going to go in and top off on fuel. But now it's going to be, you know, you got 8 cars, on the lead lap. Now, if you're in this race, Ricky, and you're in the top 8, not getting ready to go to lap down, would you go in when the leader goes in, or would you wait an extra lap so that way pit road isn't too full?
Well, these guys that are up front right now, those 3 RCR guys, I'm probably electing to go with them. They look like they know what they're doing. They're organized. There's 3 of them right there at the top of the field, minus Whitney, who's in 9th. He's the first car 1 lap down. But as soon as those RCR guys hit pit road, I'm coming with them. I want to be right on their back bumper when it comes out of here. As the leaders now are catching some lap traffic, they're going to move to the outside. Looks like the 43 now is going to go 1 lap down. Oh, he's actually going to go another lap down. He's going to go 2 laps down. A lot of these guys are going to go 2 laps down. So the 09 is going to go another lap. The 11 is going to go another lap. Put him 3 down, and then the 43 is actually going to go down 2. So these guys are going to need some epic pit strategies. The 2's trying to get to the outside of the 32. We know why he's racing. He's racing that guy up there in the 29. But nobody going to take the option to go to the outside of the racetrack.
42
36 going to follow. Yeah, 32. 42's in the wall. Take a look back here. But yeah, nobody going with that car, the 2. So he's going to lose a couple spots and lose some ground to that 29. I know what the 2's racing for, trying to get that lucky dog position. So he's able to gonna stick back in line. 36 looking to go to the outside, gonna think better of it. Gonna sit back in line, and yeah, this pack is doing a really good job. But looks like they're just trying to make it a green flag pit stops.
Yeah, looking to make it a green flag pit stop as we have 120 laps to go here. As we're almost through half of this race already, Ricky, and it's provided great racing. And I think last week with the twin 125s and the field being separated into two smaller groups, it looked and felt like it took a long time to took a long time to get that race over with because you didn't have all 30 plus cars out there racing here tonight. But now you get a product of great racing. You got everybody stacked up against each other to see who can get the first win of the season. And, it's definitely a great sight to see here as, 81 laps in out of 100 or 200, and we're only an hour and 10 minutes into this race.
Yeah, so an hour and 10 minutes, we've completed 80 laps. Sorry about that. Yeah, and it's gone by really quick. So hopefully these guys continue to stay in line. I know it's not what the fans want to see. They want to see good racing, good side-by-side racing. But with it being a 200-lap race, and I'm sure a lot of these guys, when the NASCAR season actually started, iRacing does their famous races on the server, and with the Daytona 500 being one of them. I actually did one the last Sunday. And it tests your patience. There's times where you just feel like you want to go, and then there's times where like, no, I just better sit back and just relax. So a lot of these guys electing to sit back and relax. Still got a long way to go as they're going to put the 28 now. They're going to move to the outside. 28 is going to move below the yellow line. These guys plenty of room. And here goes a 32. 32 getting a little, he's wanting to get up there now and start to make some moves. So here comes a 2 to the outside. He's racing that 29 for the lucky dog position. And so the 2 knows, hey, I'm trying to get up here, trying to get my lap back. He's going to try to do it the hard way. But if a caution does come out, he wants to be in front of that 29 so he can be the lucky dog recipient.
Yeah, trying to do whatever he possibly can to get around that number 29 of Brian Whitney, not able to get the pass done there. And it looked like Brian Whitney hesitated to get down to the inside, and everybody knows if you hesitate at a play track, that is when the chaos ensues. But Brandon Bass, being a good driver, elected to let the 29 come back down, 3 wide going through the tri-oval there. But the 32 elected to let the 29 come back down and get in line with the number 07. So a great product there by the number 32 to allow the 29 to gain his track position there. So, he may be waiting for that dreaded lap 1 of 50 to start pushing, because we already know if you're up towards the front, towards the end of this thing, you're going to want to try to push it all the way up to the front. As last week in the Core Arc Menard series, you've seen me, 2 laps to go, I made it really wide on that outside, trying to get up to the front, and then the whole field kind of looked like a big old backlash on a bait casting fishing reel, and there's just car parts and cars everywhere.
That was kind of a chaotic ARCA race that we had on Tuesday night. But so far so good here tonight. Here, Dylan, these guys are still single file. I'm pretty sure they're all going to elect to go to pit road as soon as these RCR boys come to pit road. You don't want to lose the draft of the leaders and then be stuck on an island by yourself and then eventually go 1 lap down. It looks like the 44 kind of lost the draft here a little bit. He's going to have to rely on that 31, and I wasn't sure who was. I think it was a 43 that was right behind them. So he's going to have to elect to hopefully tag along with these guys, but the 31 seems to be massively under power. Now the 44 seems to be losing the draft a little bit. He's closing in a couple hundredths each lap, so hopefully no harm, no foul. But so far, just the 3, the 07, the 32, the 36, the 44, and the 10 are all scored on the lead lap. That is only 6 cars. We kind of got like an old school IndyCar race going on with so many cars that are trapped a lap down.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a good one here to watch. As most, if not 3/4 of this field is 1 lap down. So, Brian Whitney doing what he needs to do and has picked up positions all the way up to P number 7. So good driving by the number 29 machine to get a top 10. If it does end up staying green, he could potentially get a top 3, even though he is 1 lap down.
He's just going to have to use strategy to the best of his ability. And I'm not sure if I'm his teammates, I know that they're not racing him for position, and having that buffer car is what you really want. But if I'm the 29, I'm going to try, and they're all in voice chat together. I'm sure they're all talking strategy. If I'm the 29, I kind of want to get in front of the 3. So that way the 3 can save fuel. They can go longer than anticipated. The 07 can save what he's already saving. But again, you have that buffer car with these guys in between the 32 and the 07. And so I get why he is where he is in the place where he wants to be right now. But at some point, that 29 is going to have to make a move to try to get back on the lead lap if this thing goes the way that it's going. And so far, we're coming up to lap 90. We've only had 2 cautions compared to what we had last week in both twin 125 races. He's going to have to do something that's kind of off sequence to try to get himself back on the lead lap.
Yeah, he's going to have to do something. But if he doesn't, do you think maybe those 3 drivers are going to be working ahead and working primitively working together and relaying back to 29 to see what the 32 is going to do? Because I can see it now. I think if the 32 goes to make that run on the outside, Johnny Taylor and Robert Lawrence are going to have the 29 block that run. So even though Brian Winnie is 1 lap down, you're going to see a little bit of a defensive mechanism on that number 29. Yes, it could get you potentially turned, but you want that buffer, like you said earlier, between the front 2 cars. You have the lap car of the number 29, and then you got more lead lap cars behind him with the 32, the 36, and then the 44, which has a lot of traffic that is all 1 lap down behind him.
One thing that I noticed too, Dylan, is on the back straightaway, you can see the 29 not swerving back and forth, but he's trying to get air to that nose, and then at the same time trying to keep the 32 at bay. But as they enter the corner, he's able to keep it right back on that yellow line. And so really good driving from the driver of the 29. You can see the 07's kind of doing it too, trying to get some air to that back bumper or the front radiator. To that machine, that way they don't overheat and eventually blow up. Let's see if they do it this time on the backstretch. You can see those 7, you see them darting in and out, trying to get as much clean air as you can, and the 29 kind of just, it's getting him air, then at the same time blocking that run from the 32 to get to his outside. So I do believe there is some strategy going on down in that RCR stable team. They're all talking to each other, doing a really good job. And so, yeah, we're closing in. This is lap 90. So we got to be almost probably halfway in this fuel run. And so we got to start looking at when these guys possibly want to come down pit road. I can definitely see somebody coming in and only taking fuel only, not really getting tires. But at a place like this where it's so bumpy, and I do believe tires back in the day at Daytona in real life were a key factor on some of these drivers. See the 32 is trying to get to the inside of that 29, unable to do it, but he also had pressure from the back end from the 36. So 32, you're in a good spot. I know you're trying to get around that 29 machine, but I do believe he's in a good spot. And if he just keeps riding, we're going to be there.
Yeah, it almost looked like he was dipping down below the yellow line to get that front end cooled off, as he's been on that back bumper of the number 29 for the majority of this secondary run here. And, everybody's being patient. I love it. Everybody's being patient. It's not like an official race where, okay, you got X amount of laps, I'm bum rushing myself to the front. And, you've seen it early in the race. If you bum rushed your stuff to the front, you more than likely caused an incident, or you just quickly, as soon as you got to the front, you went right back to the back. Because if you're going to show that aggressiveness this early in the season, it's going to be really hard to make friends throughout the whole season. As you've seen the 35, the 40, the 6, everybody has bum rushed their way to the front. And you see later in the run, everybody refused to help those drivers. So definitely want to, your friends are where you make them, essentially. And right now, everybody's going to be a friend until that last couple laps.
Yeah, and so far, James Harrison, Jacob Peak, Alexander Carnacio, Craig Hawkins, they have all disconnected from the server. Brian W. Wiggins dropped because of packet loss earlier in the race. Some drivers already, Chad Gustingman, he's already disconnected from this race. Chad Sullivan's already disconnected. Mark Cook's been disconnected. So a lot of these drivers are already loading up their cars on the hauler and leaving Daytona Beach, Florida, and getting ready to go to Rockingham. They're getting a head start on Rockingham next week. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Looks like 8 drivers so far are listed out of this event here in the first race of the season, the Daytona 500.
Yeah, I got to go ahead and go back here deeper in the pack as we got a 5-car tandem here, the 11, the 8, the 48, the 75, and the 6, all trying to work together to not go another lap down as everybody is, giving a little bit of space. You got the 2 wrecked cars in the front. You got the 48 that has all of his damage repaired. Earlier in the race, he had a broken toe link on that on the left front. Got that fixed and repaired. He's back out here in the track. Stony Benfield has one of the cleanest cars out here in this pack.
No.
Oh no!
Incident on pit road. The 07's going to be turned. That's Robert Lawrence. The 36 actually missed pit road. I didn't hear anybody on the radio saying if they were pitting or not. I was actually looking at some other stuff. So yeah, they're all going to come down pit road this time. As you can see, them come off of turn number 4. And it looks like a lot of them were deciding to come pit road. So the RCR boys got below the yellow line, so letting them know they're clear. The 09 darting out of line to not hit anybody. And they all come down pit road. And the 36 right here trying to avoid the 07. And he just got way too hot, gonna slide through the grass because he knew he was gonna get a black flag for speeding. I'm not sure if the 3.
Oh no! Yeah, the 3 went off the track. That's going to be an unsafe pit entrance. The 7 is going to spin. The 29 is going to be able to get in there along with the number 2. So a lot of mishaps here into pit lane, as that's going to be a make or break for this race here. As everybody is in pit lane. The 32 in pit lane this time by, as you see there, he's getting his pits fuel service in here, and he's going to be our race leader. And he's got Jacob Kaplan right behind him. So great move by the number 32 and 44. And just like that, you could tell how quick your race can turn, as it looks like Johnny Taylor already back up to speed all by himself. He's going to be able to catch the number 32 and the number 44, as the 07 of Robert Lawrence, he's right behind the number 3 machine, and he's got some catching up to do with these front couple of drivers.
Yeah, it looks like that incident coming. Looks like the couple in front of us, the pack in front of us, RCR boys, unfortunate for them. All of them not nose to tail. But we do have the speeding police out there today. 43 is going to be caught speeding this time by. So, yeah, we're going to put the race control now in the hands of the 32. And looky there. Look who's running in second right now. Guy from that Petty Enterprise stable, the 44 of Jacob Kaplan. So good to see the Petty boys.
Oh, 32 gets loose. Coming out of the corner, gets a little bit loose, and I don't think these drivers took tires this time by, as he's going to shoot it through the middle. Jacob Kaplan going to stay with that number 14 machine. Let him burn up a little bit of fuel. More fuel than what you need, and Jacob Kaplan is going to be P number 2. Johnny Taylor in 3rd. Robert Lawrence, P number 4, with William Brown running out your top 5.
Yeah, the winner on that pit cycle, obviously the 32 and the 44, they're going to be winners this time. As you see, the 31 coming off of pit road, getting his pit stop done. And so far, so good. Yeah, coming to halfway in 2 laps. The 44 is going to have control of this pace. Taking a look back here, the 29, he's actually scored on the lead lap. So big kudos to him for getting in front of the leaders, and so is Molnix. So this whole group right here are all for position. So those green flag pit stops actually put those drivers back on the lead lap. So big kudos and the pit crew for getting the job done that time. But yeah, I want to see if that 3 and that 07 are going to be able to track down these guys. Seems like they're closing in just a little bit, ever so slightly. So yeah, you can see at 6.3 seconds, and it's closing pretty well. So we could see they ran a 46.1 to a 46.5. So yeah, they're closing in on these guys in front of them. You can see it getting smaller and smaller as they continue around this 2.5 mile racetrack.
Yeah, and I don't know if you saw that or not, but Johnny Taylor, Robert Lawrence ran the exact same lap time of that time by with a 46.170. Running identical lap times, pretty much running the exact same setup, but they're closing in on this lead pack, and there's only 2 cars. That is absolutely phenomenal to have a 2-car pack. They've already closed in a full second coming to the line. It was up at 6.8. It's already down to 5.6. So these RCR cars are on the move right now. Don't want to have the 32 and the 44 get out to a big enough gap, but still closing in down to 5.5.
Yeah, it's getting smaller and smaller each turn, each straightaway. Every part of this 2.5 mile racetrack, they're taking the shortest way around. They're floating the car up off of turn number 2, kind of going to the middle of the racetrack, and not really pushing the issue, as you could say. So I bet you these guys took tires too. They knew the mistake that had just happened. They took tires, especially with them sliding their tires. You don't want to flat spot them, and once you flat spot them, it's just not fun to drive anymore. As you can see, and they float up again in the tri-oval, then they're going to bring it right back down to that yellow line, and then probably float it up just a little bit off. Yep, they're floating it off. So these guys aren't really working the wheel, even as bumpy as it is here at Daytona. For Legacy Daytona, they're letting the car do the work. They're not trying to overdrive or overcook what they're doing. As you see, they're coming off of 2. You can see it float up just a little bit, and he's coming right back down bottom of the racetrack. See him float up just more, so he can get his entry right. So they're making up time, Dylan. A lot of time being made up. They're down 4.5 seconds.
Yeah, still all closing. As you see there, a lot of wheel movement for the number 3 machine, but right in front of them are the leaders. So Johnny Taylor and Robert Lawrence trying to do the inevitable, even though they had the pit road mishap. That's not going to stop them from getting back up to the front. I'm going to go ahead and look on the outboard of this number 3 machine of Johnny Taylor, and just look how close Robert Lawrence is getting on that back bumper. Almost can't see the Chevy symbol, as he knows when to push and when not to push, as he's keeping that little bit of an air bubble between these 2 cars. And yes, I said air bubble. These cars do have the air bubble. If you're not familiar with iRacing or the air bubble on the iRacing services, is when you get right up into that back bumper, creating more force along with the cars. Sometimes you're not going to be able to get right up to the back bumper. As Ricky, you know, for example, me and you, we've bump drafted before, and sometimes you can't get right up on my back bumper, and other times I can't get back up on yours.
Yeah, especially with me and you doing a bunch of next gen stuff. It's the way that those cars draft. If me and you were like this, Dylan, it'd be me requiring to drag the brake. It'd be you requiring just to be full throttle, and you could slam draft me as much as you can. But yeah, the draft package compared to the current car is really crazy. So the side drafting too is another thing. You can't really side draft. You can in these cars, but it's not to the full extent as you can with the current Cup car. So there's a lot of differences, but there's also a lot of similarities that go along with this, with these cars. For me, these are looser. The next gen to me is a loose race car to begin with, depending on the type of track we're going to. I know a lot of the fixed setups are tight, meaning the front end just doesn't want to turn. For some of our viewers who aren't into racing like that, and these cars, they're super loose, meaning the back end wants to kick out every single time. And yeah, so there's some differences obviously, but there's also a lot of similarities.
Yeah, a lot of similarities that there is in that gap. Now down to 2.2. That number 3 machine is getting a lot bigger behind it. That number, I believe it's the number 2 of Daniel Molnick's. Possibly, no, it's not Daniel Molnick's. So we're going to go ahead and go up here to Kaplan. It's going to be the number the 14 of Nick or no, it's not Nick Cannon. Who's the 14? Lucas. We're going to go ahead and look on the rear of the number 14 here, and that number 3 is getting ever so bigger coming up to that back bumper, and it's only 2 cars, Ricky, 4 against 2, and the 2 is showing their dominant hand here tonight.
Yeah, that's wild to me. As you can see, the 07 in the mid corner getting some air to the front end of that nose. Oh, we got a wreck. The 8 is going to be spinning. Looks like he's in the middle of turns. I don't know if that's I think it's 1 and 2.
Oh, he's back up on the track. This is going to be disastrous for the drivers. They're all going to get around him, and there is a caution. So that's going to change everything here, as we're going to go ahead and go back to a CRN replay to see exactly what happened to the number 8 machine, as it all started with Dan Ross in the number 48. I'm going to go ahead and slow it down here and get on board with Mark Sikochi just to see what happened with the number 8 machine. And it looks like he just lost a lot of speed there. Not sure exactly what happened to that number 8 machine, but he's going to set it sideways by the number 48, and he's going to slide sideways all the way through turn 1 and 2, it looks like. And that's going to bring out our 3rd caution of the night.
Yeah, so our 3rd caution comes at lap number, I want to say it was 110, 106, so 105 actually. But one of the things that it helps out is it helps out the 36, the 10, the 01, the 2, the 29. All of them are going to be able to get caught back up to the pace cars. These guys are now coming out of turn number 4, or it looks like the pace car is actually entering turn 2.
Yeah, pace car into turn 2.
Yeah, they're all going to have to get the wave around to get caught back up. As you can see, the field now, they're entering 1. These guys are entering 3.
Yeah, Brandon Bass already behind the pace car here. So you have 1st and 2nd up there, and then 3rd and 4th with the 2 RCR cars. And now you got 3 of the RCR stable on the lead lap. So now you're going to see where your friends are and who you made friends with. You already know the 44 is going to go with possibly the number 32 to help him throughout this race. And, you know, we are halfway through tonight, and what better way than to give another shout-out to all of 465 subscribers to CRN. Without you, we wouldn't be able to do what we do here on YouTube. Make sure you guys turn on that bell notification, hit the thumbs up on the video, comment who you got in the race, who's your favorite driver, what paint scheme you like the most, and make sure, you know, you just hang out with us. We have broadcasts throughout the whole week, sometimes 2 or 3 a night. So if you don't want to miss any of the action here on the CRN, make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit the bell notification, turn on all notifications so every single broadcast that CRN puts on you don't miss. As you know, we're in the works of doing another cup, I should say, but I think Carl Handwork and Jimmy Covert can iron out the details on that, and that is going to be absolutely amazing. I can't wait to be a part of it. Ricky, I'm not going to be at the booth. I'm going to be down there on the track with a lot of drivers. Not going to say what exactly it all is, as you know, it's definitely going to be a fun night down there on the racetrack.
Yeah, I might have to join you on that one. Kind of cut back on the amount of racing that we're doing. Not able to do that Monday league anymore. Just with the way my work schedule is, I just can't commit to something that has a session so early. 6 p.m. is when that session opens. I can't commit to that, especially with the expansion of work going on. But yeah, I might have to join you in that league. I know we broadcast Tuesdays and I do truck Wednesday, but I might have to join you if it's a next gen league. Definitely gonna have to think about doing that with you. And then basketball, obviously on Fridays. Not able to run on Fridays anymore, so we have basketball practice for the AAU side of things. So yeah, I'd love to get more information on that, and maybe I have to talk to you off stream and off broadcast and get some information on that.
Oh yeah, definitely going to be a fun night. It's going to be happening May 4th. So make sure you guys tune in to CRN, follow the CRN Facebook page, as it is Core Racing Network /CRN. Make sure you guys give that page a thumbs up, as we do post a lot of stuff over there, like our streams and so on and so forth. So make sure you guys follow the YouTube side and the Facebook side. As I'm looking at the chat right now, David Tilford, a core racing veteran, I guess you could say, we're up to 470 now, going up nightly. So I want to say thanks to all 470 subscribers tuning in to tonight's race. As Ricky, it's been a great race so far, and we're currently 109 laps in out of this 200 lap feature.
Yeah, they're looking back at as we're going through the YouTube chat right now. Here's one you'll like, Dylan. Oh man, these broadcasters' voices are so soothing. Best part of the show, and that's from Mr. Zachary Woods. So big shout out to all the Titletown guys tuning into the broadcast tonight. You guys making fun of us up here. It's always fun seeing these guys come up in the chat. I do post this chat, or not chat. I post the link, several of the discords that we're involved in, Dylan, and trying to get CRN out there. Just want to. Carl and Jimmy have done a phenomenal job of building this thing, and to see us at almost 470 people, that's mind-blowing to me. But so far, it looks like Pace Car is going to come out of turn number 4. The field is actually in the hands of the 29, so it looks like the 29 electing not to pit this time by. It's going to be in control with the 44 right alongside of him. So they're going to bring him down to the restart zone. And we are back underway here at Daytona, taking lap number 110. And the 32 going to be stuck to the right of the back bumper of that 29 machine. But hey, there's a teammate right behind that 32 in the 07, and then you have the 3 right behind the 44. Look at the gap there. The 07 gives a 3, so all of them RCR boys working together, and it won't surprise me one bit if once the 07 gets cleared, 29 jumps to the top side of the racetrack and try to control the race once again.
Yeah, Brian Whitney goes from one lap down to leading the field, and that's what determination is. Just because you get one lap down doesn't mean it's the end of the race there for you, as Brian Whitney able to get that lap back and is now at the front of the lead pack. Now, this is where it's going to get interesting. Does Brian Whitney stay controlling the field, or does he wait till Robert Lawrence and Johnny Taylor gets clear of that number 44, and does he move up to help bring the other 2 RCR cars around the number 32?
Yeah, I'm sure those guys are going to be stuck in the line, but as you can see, as we said earlier, during the 125s, this is what we saw. The 44 able to hold his own on the outside right by himself. No drafting help whatsoever. Able to keep strong on that outside lane. And you can see he's not really going backwards as compared to if it was another car, like the next gen or a truck or an Xfinity car. I mean, he is going backwards, don't get me wrong. But he was able to maintain that position almost a whole lap before the 3 even got side by side to him. Now it's the 07 getting side by side with him. And so, yeah, you can keep yourself strong up there on the outside of the racetrack.
As Brian Whitney has had some internet connection issues, as he is no longer out there racing here tonight, and that's going to inherit the lead to the number 32. Maybe he will be able to get back out here and continue his laps, but not sure if that number 29 is going to be able to get back out here. But so far, it is that 44 all by himself on that outside, trying to get to the lead. Not able to get there, but it is a 3 and 07 getting to the back bumper of the number 32, and that's going to bring along the 36 and the 01.
Yeah, it's going to bring a lot of these guys that were able to get caught back up with the latest caution being out there. But look again, 44 is keeping his own out there on the outside of the racetrack. You see the 01, here comes the 11 now. He is multiple laps down, and he's actually trying to get back to 2 laps down, so him and the 42 are now working together. But yeah, look at that 44. It's just able to keep such momentum coming on from the top side of the racetrack down the back straightaway. He's going to gain ground, and then he gained a partner right there in the back. That's the 36, and then right behind them is the 11 and the 28. And so, yeah, the 44, the petty boy, trying to get up there and lead a lap, get some extra bonus points.
And it looks like he's going to be able to do it, as he got clear of the number 32 coming off the corner. He's still able to move back down, not able to do it anymore, as now it is a fuel conservative mode and just riding. You've seen how dominant people can be getting up to the front. The 32 has led a couple laps. The 3 has led laps. The 44 has now led laps. And now it comes down to when are you going to take that final pit stop?
So we know we can go 65 laps. We've been saying it all broadcast long. You can go 65 laps on a tank of fuel. As we have 2 more cars exit the race, and I'm pretty sure the 29's working on trying to get back in. But it looks like Dan Ross is going to take his car to the garage. He's going to be scheduled in the 20th place. He's going to be the first car out of the Daytona 500 here tonight for the first race of the season for National Sim Racing. But yeah, look at this. These guys back at the front, going to come up just a little bit. Going to try to halt the momentum of the inside lane. And the 44 and the 36, they're getting to the point of the race now where it's kind of going to be go time. And patience and the boxing gloves are going to start wearing out. And the boxing gloves are going to come off too. And it's going to be a bare knuckle fist fight.
Yeah, it's also going to come down to my favorite thing. Who's going to be the one with the biggest set on them and push it 3 wide? That's what it's going to come down to. If it comes down to, everybody being side by side, going for the win, who's going to take the extra step and make it 3 wide? I don't necessarily think Johnny Taylor or Robert Lawrence would want to do that because they have the mindset of, I'd rather be able to finish the race where I can instead of wrecking myself and other competitors trying to get a win. And, that is great advice. I have taken that advice and have been trying to, do it myself. As we have the 3 and the 07, they're going to dive down to the inside, let everybody by, and they're going to be in fuel conservative mode here.
Yeah, they're going to try to probably make it on one more pit stop. So lap 108, let me do the math right now. So let me get my handy dandy calculator.
Look at about lap 172, if you can get about 65 laps on a fuel tank.
Yeah, so lap 173. So yeah, you're right on the number, Dylan. 172, 173. That'll probably be the last pit stop of the race. And if they're saving now, pretty sure they're going to try to do probably like half a tank or something like that, 3/4 of a tank, try to make it to the end. And that's hoping that they don't have any cautions any cautions in between that to have overtime. You always got to finagle in overtime, and I know iRacing had the big massive update where you can add laps now instead of gallons, and I'm probably playing with that lap counter, making sure I have enough fuel to the end.
36.
As a 36, yeah.
Made that depressing move all the way down to the inside, almost collecting the number 1. But here comes the number 6 of William Martin. Not on the lead lap, but trying to get his 1 lap back the hard way. But it is Jacob Kaplan leading this field to the backstretch here to collect another lap led. And everybody is playing it safe right now, 118 laps in. And with these drivers being this clean and green, I think it's time for another You Love to Hear It.
So if you come back here to Daytona, there's another section of You Love to Hear It. Actually use that opportunity, I'm not gonna lie to you, Dylan. I use that opportunity to go to the bathroom. This is a crazy long race, and I'm not used to these almost 2-hour broadcasts. So I had to make a little pit stop myself, as we're looking to go 3 wide here off of turn number 4. Thinks better of it, and so far so good. That 44 machine is being the Pied Piper, as you could say, on the second half of this race, but it looks like the 01. He's gonna try to take the lead away from him, and successfully does. And he's going to try to bring his friend, the 36, along with him. And I know that's a big driver that Barry Kistler's watching here. And good showing for the 36, Barry. He's actually running in P number 2. And all these guys that are on the outside now with no help from the 44, on the bottom of the racetrack, they're just going to be able to all go by him. You can see them all swoop down the bottom of the racetrack.
Yeah, everybody going down to the inside. That's going to leave the 09, the 14, the 75, and the 11 going to go back up to the outside. So a lot of drivers trying to figure out where they want to go. And looking back here, Johnny Taylor electing to go all the way back to the rear of this field, save a little bit more tires. So we're looking about, what was it, 172, 173-ish for our final pit stop here tonight. Maybe even longer for these 2 RCR cars as the 11 is into the wall. He's going to keep it up high, let the whole field go by. And with Johnny Taylor and Robert Lawrence saving this much fuel, you're looking at probably 175, 176-ish maybe, if they can get that number right.
Yeah, they got to be able to get that number. They can probably go a little bit further too. But yeah, they've just been elected to hang out in the back of this pack the whole time. And I'm sure they're saving fuel. They're probably 3/4 throttle. They're keeping tact in the draft. And they're not really doing too much to avoid that. So far, so good. And then there's a lot of, I want to say there's like a lot of lap cars too, as I'm going back and looking. You know, the 8's a lap down. Looks like he was able to fix a lot of that damage to the front end of that race car. The 6 is 1 lap down. He's in this front pack. The 10 is on the lead lap. The 43 is multiple laps down. So yeah, we got a mixture of both going on here in this lead pack. And then so far there hasn't been. Look at the back end of that number 8 car, all crushed in. And so he's able to fix a lot of the front end damage, and the back end just looks like it needs a little bit of work.
Yeah. Back end is a little bit cattywampus there. As you see there, the left front, or right front, excuse me, is still a little bit beaten and banged on that right side of that number 8 machine, but still 2 by 2, about 5-6 rows deep for these drivers, and they single file out towards the back. The 43 is back up here with his teammate just on the outside, but still a couple laps down is Shane Wielden, as he's got the hole to get back down before it closes back up, but the 6 powering around on the inside to close that hole.
Yeah, the 44 dropped a lot of positions, and the 6 filling in right behind them. So it looks like the 44 is trying to make his way back up to the front. I mean, he scored in the 6th position, but it looks like he's like 10 cars in this pack. Yeah, he's like the 10th place running car in the pack. So not doing a terrible job. He's trying to set himself up as we're getting closer and closer to pit stops, and then you can see the RCR boys right there in the back of the pack. You got Thomas on the tail end of this pack, the 99s on the tail end of this pack. So it looks like, yeah, so connection issues for the 29 too, going back to that, Dylan, another RCR driver. Looks like his day is going to be done, internet connection, so he'll be scored in the 19th position. Then you have the 28 that's currently on pit road. But if I'm one of these cars that's really heavily damaged, I'm continuing the race, because you never know how many spots you can gain. So people like Thomas, who's 7 laps down, the 99 of Marcotte, or I probably I butchered that name. And the 14 and Engelman, you know, all these guys scored multiple laps down. You never know what could happen in one of these races. So then we can get cautions, and you know just as good as I do, Dylan, cautions breed cautions. And once that happens, you can find yourself back on the lead lap and racing for a win.
Yeah, as you see there, it looked like the 09 was going to thought about taking the 32-3 wide, thought better of it. 140 laps into this 200-lap race, so 60 laps to go for these drivers, and 2 hours in, and, you know, we're a third of the way through as the 01 is going to continue leading these laps.
Yeah, we're almost 3/4 through the race, 150 laps. Well, that'll be the 3/4 distant mark for all you math majors out of this time. But we have a lot of drivers now starting to pit. They're starting to call out pitting. So some of these drivers are electing to come down pit road. I do believe the 6 is going to be coming down this time by. It sounds like I don't know who else is going to come with him, but he's going to be out of this lead pack. As soon as they come off a 4, you can see him blend off right there. The 12 is coming with him, so he'll have a little bit of drafting help. Oh, and he's going to tag the inside wall. Oh, heavy damage to that 6 car.
Yeah, the 6 going to tag the inside wall. It looked like the 12 just wanted to avoid it. He goes into the grass as that's championship implications 101 as, I have a lot of troubles getting in and off a pit lane. If you watch any of the core racing broadcast brought to you by you and John Nobinger or Carl and Jimmy, depending on what series it is, you could sometimes, depending on the track, if I don't practice pit road entry, you will see that number 38 go into the wall or miss pit lane completely, as we have another taker. That's going to be the 09 of Kyle Merkel.
Yeah, Kyle Merkel is going to come down pit road this time by. He is going to come down and get his green flag pit stop underway. So, we still got 30 laps to go within that scheduled number, 172, 173. And these RCR boys are probably going to try to extend that even longer. As you see, the 6 still on pit road, probably got a lot of required damage that he's needing to fix. So he's still sitting on pit road. He's going another lap down. He's 2 laps down now. He was 1. He's going to go down another one. That's going to be 3. So the 09's exiting pit road. We're going to see if we have any more takers. And we saw somebody peel off the racetrack.
Yeah, that's going to be the number 14 of Lucas. He's going to go into pit lane at this time by. He got into the grass a little bit. So a lot of these drivers not used to the braking here in getting into pit lane. A little bit cattywampus as, all these drivers electing to take the undercut here. And now it's going to come down to, if you're the leader, when would you want to make that scheduled pit stop?
Yeah, I'm probably going to run this tank dry, Dylan, if I'm being honest with you. There's no need for me to come down this early to pit road, especially if you're going to have green-white checkers involved. I'm hitting that number of 172, 173, and I'm looking to go after that. So these guys that are on the tail end of this pack, they've already saved enough fuel probably for this. The likes of the 01, the 32, they're not getting as good fuel mileage as these guys that are in the pack. Because they're leading it, and just the way that the air flows with these race cars, it's like getting behind your 18-wheeler. So I'll use a perfect example. When you're on the interstate and you get behind an 18-wheeler, you can kind of feel that air on the front end of your nose. You can feel your steering wheel like, you can just feel it in your wheel when you're driving on the interstate. I know I do when I drive. You get behind an 18-wheeler, you get better gas mileage just because that 18-wheeler is poking the air, as you can say, in front of everything, and so you're able to not burn as much fuel by tucking in behind that 18-wheeler. It's probably different because it is on the interstate compared to a racetrack like this, 2.5 mile big super speedway. But that's probably the best analogy and the best example I can give is being in a pack like this, being behind an 18-wheeler on the interstate.
Yeah, I was just going to say, not all of us drive like Alex Bowman, I actually take my time. No, I'm just kidding. I have a lead foot, okay? We're just going to put that out there. I have a lead foot. I'm not going to say what I do on the interstate, but just know Dylan McDonald has a lead foot, okay? The speed limit is just a suggestion in some parts. So, the biggest interstate here is I-69, okay, and 469. Speed limit is 70. I'm looking about 80, 85, 90. So definitely, if anybody is watching that has cop friends, make sure you just tune out that you know. Anyways,
Yes,
back to the
especially
racing.
anything in Indiana. If you got
Yeah.
anybody that's in Indiana, look for that Dylan McDonald. Look for him on the interstate.
Well, just I'm not going to say what kind of car I drive or anything like that, so they're not going to know what they're looking for. But nonetheless, though,
I do, but well, back to the action.
well, I'm not. I'm going to trade in my car and get a new one and not tell you what I'm driving. So I know what is in store. But look at the 01. The 36 and the 10 using that inside to their advantage, going to get around the number 32 as he's going to drift high coming out of the corner and give that lap lead to the 32 as Brandon Bass still out front. And Jacob Kaplan of that number 44 drops all the way to the back, probably notices what the 3 and the 07 has done and is trying to play a little bit of catch up with saving a little bit more fuel.
Even the 2, he started to back up his pace. So the 2's lost track of this pack. He's going to be the leader of that second pack. And then you have the 2 RCR boys right behind them. And then you have the Petty boys right behind the guys that are all side by side. So the Petty boys are going to be the 7th and 8th place cars in the field. But Kaplan running in 5th, and then the 43 is running in 12th. They're just playing that cat and mouse game. They're laying the patient card. They know it's not time to go yet. We're only 150 laps into this race, technically 148, but we're closing in on that 3/4 mark. And then I think action will start to pick up once we get to that lap 170, 180 mark. You'll see action start to pick up. You'll see these RCR boys start to make their moves towards the front. But everybody's just trying to make that magic number, I believe. And I do believe it is 172. I know we keep repeating that. I honestly think it's going to be 172, 173 when they can come down pit road for the final time here tonight.
Yeah, and another thing that is great about this race is there's no stages, so these guys are going to go completely on a fuel mileage for every race here in the season. It's going to be a great season, 100% races. Ricky, I don't know about you, but I think the only race that I'm really dreading and going to have beef jerky, energy drinks, and a bunch of no-dos is going to be that Coke 600.
Yeah, that's going to be another crown jewel. So they're doing the full 2000, and I want to say it's like the 2003, 2000, in that 2005 era. And so next week we'll go to Rockingham, and then I believe the week after that will be Las Vegas, and then Atlanta. So they're following the exact schedule that these guys are doing from the past. So it's cool to see blast from the past. These guys paying homage to what has happened in previous Real Cup Series schedules. I do believe they'll go to Legacy, Texas once a year. I do believe that's when Texas had its one race a year. We won't see any of the likes of like your Road Americas, the Chicago Street Course, your Codas. None of that will be on the schedule. You'll see the Rockinghams, your Darlingtons, Martinsville, like all your legendary racetracks that these guys used to go to back in the day. Was hoping I'd see Wilkesboro on that schedule, but they didn't go to that back in the 2000s. Wilkesboro actually got replaced by Texas, who got replaced again by Wilkesboro. So kind of deja vu, I guess you can say, for those guys. But yeah, it's going to be a fun, fantastic season. 300 and something laps at Rockingham next week. You might have to drag Caleb next week because I will definitely not be there. I will be at Talladega for the Cup Series. So yeah, you might have to get some help next week from Caleb. Hopefully he doesn't have anything planned and he can help you, because I know broadcasting by yourself, Dylan, it can be boring if you're doing it by yourself.
Right, especially a long race is like these are. The shootouts were fine, the twin 125s were fine, but the full length Rockingham, oh man, that's definitely going to be a tough task in itself to do by myself. So yeah, I will definitely phone up somebody to see if they are free. But nonetheless, look at that. Everybody's single file, so they know pit stops are getting ready to occur. They want to be all single file, get ready to go down into pit lane. And, I can't stress this enough, Ricky. When we go down into pit lane, I always say where I'm going to go. I say I'm going down all the way down to the inside by the wall. You take the middle, and then let's say Wes or Zach Woods takes the outside, so we're all staggered. We're not running over each other. And, we've seen a lot of drivers here tonight make that first green flag pit stop where they all dove down into pit lane, and they didn't really stagger themselves out. They didn't get a good entrance into pit lane. They slid through the commitment cone into the grass, got it back into pit lane, and that's going to be key on this money stop.
And this is going to be the money stop. You can see the 11 slowly coming to pit road. He's going to go another lap down. So really tough racing for the start for Robert Engelman in the Daytona 500. But hey, it is one race, and I know everyone wants to start on the right foot when it comes to Daytona, and try to get your season started on the right foot. But everybody knows next week, and you said it way early in the broadcast, Dylan, that Rockingham is going to be the first race. But going back to pit stops, you know, that's one of the things that we do at TTR is we like to chat, communicate as much as we can on when we're pitting and what we're doing. And so some of these guys are now starting to call pit road, but now this is the money stop. You don't want to slide your tires if you're not going to take tires. You want to call out what you're doing. So here we go. The 01, the 36, the 8. Oh, the 8's going to lock them up. So is the 01. The 10 a little bit lock up. Oh, the 36 is. Oh, he's going to get turned.
Oh, the 01 going to turn the 36 into pit lane. He's going to go backwards into pit road. And that's going to do it for the number 36, but a lot of drivers stayed out. So the 32, the 3, the 07, and the 2 all stayed out for this long green flag run. And you see the gap there. The 2 is going to get passed by the 07 and the 3. And now it's going to be a numbers game. The 32 is by himself. What is he going to do? Is he going to go with the 07 and 3?
Oh, and we got to spin.
Oh, we got to spin. The 3 gets involved. Oh, no, the 75. We're going to have to see if we can catch that as we did. Go back here and look at this replay. Slow it down. See exactly what happened. So the 75 down to the inside gets collected by the number 3. The 3 is going to go up into the wall. Robert Lawrence gets through that by the hair on his chinny chin. Robert Lawrence has to be one of the luckiest guys on iRacing. As we're going to go ahead and rewind this look from the chase cam of Robert Lawrence here and just show you what we've seen here with the number 07. As you see there, Robert Lawrence still holding the middle. Oh, he got a little bit of net code, but able to save it. And look at that, the 32 looking to go into pit lane. And as he was going in, that caution did come out. And I believe that's going to give the EOL to the number 3 machine.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if that 3 doesn't get the dreaded EOL. He's going to have to, I mean, good thing is there's not, well, it's going to be the tail end of the field, and I'm not really sure. It looks like there's only 16 cars that are on the racetrack right now out of the possible 30. I think we had 36 start the race. But yeah, a little bit of damage to that 3. The 7 doesn't have any, the 07 doesn't have as much damage as I thought he would. So they'll come down pit road this time by. And that was an unfortunate for the 75. Just wrong place, wrong time, I guess. The 3 wasn't managing the runs properly, so he'll receive that EOL. And it's common to make mistakes. We're not bashing anybody when it comes to making mistakes. And so we'll see. Yeah, and they just came over the radio. The 3 will receive that EOL. So he's probably just going to fix as much damage as he can, knowing he's already has to start the tail end of the field. They're coming out of turn number 2. So yeah, you can see a lot of damage to the front end of that race car. You can see both fenders are pushed in. That's going to hinder performance on the straightaways. You can see some of it getting pushed out right now. So he'll try to get as much as he can. And one of our favorites, one of the contenders that we thought would try to win this race, in trouble here under this caution.
Yeah, and that whole right side, as you just seen it all cave back out. So I don't think maybe he's under power. Needless to say, is it's really getting fixed here. And with it being Daytona, you can sit in pit road for at least a whole minute as look at that. The whole car looks brand spanking new as A little nostalgia on that. Oh yeah,
There it is.
that car is completely brand new. Dale, we hear you, buddy. Just like what Dale Earnhardt Sr. said when he flipped, he said if the tires are still aired up, get that truck off the trailer. I'm continuing the race.
Yeah, there's another quote, but I can't say it over the broadcast. But something like a raise, you know what? Praise Dale.
Raise HE double hockey stick, praise Dale.
Yeah, so we can't say those words over broadcast. We're trying to get some places here at CRN, and we don't want to hinder our trajectory of getting all these viewers and possibly getting us into a bigger spotlight. So, yeah, he wants to do it for Dale for sure. Able to knock those fenders out. Looks like they got the baseball bat and able to work on the front of that race car. And yeah, it looks like a brand new race car. Looks like he took a fast repair.
Well, not gonna lie, just like Ray Evernham said and Jeff Gordon once said, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. So, just like Jeff Gordon also said, if back in the day, if you went through tech and, you blew right through it and, your crew chief said, oh, yeah, it was a piece of cake, you're not winning that race. So, it's definitely going to be a big thing here. Johnny Taylor getting the EOL, going to be deep in the pack here. He's going to have to try to work his way back up to his teammate and to see if he can push his teammate back up here to the front.
Yeah, it's going to be, he has a lot of damaged race cars to get through, so I'm sure at the start of the restart here, he's going to try to get in front of those guys as fast as he can. But yeah, I don't see long before that 3 car is back to the front of the pack. Him and Lawrence have just been working super well together, and we saw earlier in one of the stints where it was just both of them, and they were making so much ground up compared to the guys that were 7-8 cars within the draft. So we're coming back to the green flag. Field is in control of the 01. It looks like it's the 01 and the 10 on the front row. They're all going to take the green flag, and they're going to dive into 1. Looks like the outside lane has more numbers and are more organized. Well, the 14 is going to leave the 07s, and the 14 are actually going to go drop to the bottom of the racetrack.
Oh, the 36 trying to drop down was not clear. But I was too busy on Johnny Taylor there, and he's making his way back up through the pack there. Already passed 3 of those drivers. Now he's getting ready to pass the number 43 on the outside. Get around him, get down to the inside. He used Daniel Molnix as a pick to get more of a draft. He may push it 3 wide here, doing it for Dale in the back as he's going to think better of it, take it 2 wide, get around the number 11, and get back up here towards the front.
Yeah, after getting that penalty, he's trying to get every position that he can, and so with it being a plate track, he's able to get around these guys fairly quickly, and I'm sure since he was already starting in the pack, he took 4 fresh Goodyears, and now they're all rocking and rolling. So we've already had the money stop, and I'm curious now who's electing to save a little bit as you see the 07 drop back, and look at there, they're nose to tail once again and looking to go 3 wide on the 75.
Yeah, Johnny Taylor thought better of it here as he did not take it 3 wide there. But, RCR cars are lined back up again. But now you got Johnny Taylor right behind that number 75. Does the 3 get around the number 75 cleanly this time? As it is Austin Rhodes leading his first laps of the race here tonight in the Daytona 500.
Yeah, that MB2 Motorsports, they're all up there. The 10, the 01, the 36, and I thought I saw the 14. I think he's the first car on the outside right there. So yeah, all of these MB2 Motorsports now are starting to come up here to the front. And so yeah, we're starting to see who the heavy hitters are now, who the guys that were patiently going through there. Oh, the 36 gonna slide up the racetrack just a little bit. Probably misjudged corner entry right there, but no harm, no foul. They're able to keep it going. It looks like he's just sliding all over the place. He's fighting that race car from what it looks like.
Yeah, he was one of the drivers that got spun in a pit lane by the guy that's behind him. That's going to be the 01 of Nick Cannon. So Nick Cannon tried to work his way back up here to the front as you got the RCR guys up on the top side right behind Stoney Bedfield at number 75. And then it is a numbers game down on the inside as the 32 elects to go with Johnny Taylor, and they're going to push it 3 wide. Johnny Taylor through the middle, all the way back up to the front. Look at that number 3 go, as he's going to take the lead with 39 laps to go.
Less than 40 laps to go. The 14 got a little squirrely right there. There it is right there. The RCR boys already back up to the front. They're going to dive to the inside of the racetrack here and control this field. And then if I'm Lawrence, yeah, the 8's not going to have any help. So he'll slide through the field. But yeah, back in control at Daytona. It's the RCR boys, and I'm not surprised one bit.
Yeah, didn't I say earlier on the broadcast that Johnny Taylor and Robert Lawrence would not take these guys 3 wide? Well, I'm wrong. Johnny Taylor most definitely took these guys 3 wide. An impressive move. Everybody gave each other room. And he said, you know what? I'm shooting the moon, and it worked for him. So now you got the 3 and the 07 leading this pack. The next car that is on the lead lap is going to be the number 10, but he's got a lapped car in front of him. The 36 has the 8, which is another lap down car as well. And then you got Nick Cannon, the number 01 GoArmy.com scheme. Stony Benfield is 1 lap down as well, I do believe. And then you got the 32 of Brandon Bass trying to work his way back up through the pack. And, you know, if I was Brandon Bass and I seen the 3 and the 07 take that 3 wide move, I would have followed him right up through the pack.
I mean, you gotta get spots at this point and try to get to the front. We're coming to go time, and you got to start planning your moves on what you want to do and try to get to the front. So we have the 3, the 07 is 1 and 2, the 36 in between the lap car of Sokochi, who was 3 laps down, scored in the 11th position. And when do you get that driver out of the way? When do you leave him out to dry to try to make your move so you can get to the back bumper of these 2 RCR guys? Because they're actually going to move it to the high side of the racetrack. That's going to let the 32 get underneath them. And the 8 thinking about going with a 32, but it wants to stay tucked back in line. And so, yeah, it's just, it comes down to it. When you want to get rid of that lap car, because at the end of the day, you got to do what you got to do to try to go win this race, especially if you're in a prime position to actually achieve that and try to go to victory lane, especially in a race that's like this, the Daytona 500.
Yeah, you see it there. I think what's going to happen is if the 36 and the 32 can eye up a run down to the inside, you're going to see the 2 RCR cars go from the top to the bottom to block that run. And there goes the number 32. Now, what does the 07 and the 3 do? He's going to get around the 8 machine. He's going to be side by side with the 07, but the 32 has no help as of yet. So he's going to lose all that position and ground that he has lost. And look at that. The 09, the 75, the 44 thought better of it. Going to go up to the outside. So the 32 is going to be left out to dry, and that has got to be the most annoying thing ever in plate racing, is when you're helping somebody all race long and then you expect that favor back and they don't do it. But now you see here the 09 is now right up on that back bumper of the number 32, and it's going to be a 4-car battle here for the race win.
Yeah, we're eventually, they're going to get clear of that lap car, I believe. And so the 32 not playing any games and not wasting any time on trying to get back to the front. But it's still just wild to me how these guys on the outside can be all lined up in a draft, ready to go. And it's a credit probably to this package that we had back in the day, or that wicker being on the roof of the car, that they're able just to keep and maintain with those guys. Because I guarantee if you're in the next gen and that happens, you're going straight to the back with no help at all.
Oh, yeah, you're definitely going to go back to the back here, as we're going to ride on board with Johnny Taylor. See exactly what he sees, as you can see the helmet on that number 3 machine, raceepi.com, as he is still in control of this lead pack. Going to try to keep the lead with 33 laps to go here into that 32. He is on and a moving, and if you look at that side of the number 32, it looks like the 32 at the end of the race of the Darlington race with how dirty it is.
Yeah, it's just all the bugs, all the debris, all the rubber that's been built up through this race. You can see it right there. I mean, he's able to get alongside of the 07 and not long. You know, we know the 3 is going to stay with his teammate, and that 32 is eventually going to get to the inside of that number 3 race car. And then he's bringing some friends with him. The 09 is right behind him, and then right behind them it looks like it's a 75. I see the 43 poking out. You can see a lot of the stragglers that are multiple laps down right behind him. But he's not giving up. He's trying to let that inside work, but it's just no help. You can see him now losing ground, and he also lost a drafting partner. The 09 just going to slide right up in front of him. So yeah, the 32 is actually going to move its way to the back of this pack, and if there's a gap, and the 09 just not knowing where to go, if there's a gap, I'm the 32, I'm going to try to fill that hole as fast as I can.
Yeah, I got to try to fill that hole as we took a ride along with that number 3 machine, as he is leading this pack. In the top 3 are single file now. They can move down. They can move wherever they want to move, as they're going to keep it up on that outside. But here comes that number 75 with Stoney Bedfield. He was going to try to make a run at the inside here. He's got the 2, the 12, the 43, and it looked like the 14 all in a line here with the inside row forming. No, that's the 11. I apologize. They're all on the inside trying to make a run at this lead pack. But anything can happen. There is going to be 30 laps to go this time by, and you know it's not over till it is over, as the 32 might be just corralling. He is P number 4 right now, going to eye up a run later, as they're all going to make their way down to the inside.
They all went from the top of the racetrack to the bottom of the racetrack. The 01 unable to get to the bottom, so that's going to let the 09 fill that position. Here goes the 36 now. He's going to start to make his move on the 8. Thinks better of it with the 32 lurking right behind him. He's just going to tuck back in line. Going to have the run as they're coming up on some more lap traffic. Everybody going to slide up just a little bit to the middle of the racetrack. But yeah, here goes the 32 now. He's going to take advantage of the 36 going out of line. And so now move the 32 up to that original 3rd place position that he had. Oh, he's going to clip the apron just a little bit. And eventually they're going to have to start planning together. One, they're going to get rid of Sakochi, who's multiple laps down. He's scheduled 3 laps down in the 11th position. And with the 75 being the lucky dog recipient, so if a caution comes out, that 75 will get his lap back, and then the 8 would be the first car 1 lap down. But yeah, they're going to have to start planning on when they want to get around this 8 car, and it looks like the 36 has found a way around them. He's going to bring some friends with him on the outside, the 01 and the 10. So again, here comes these MB2 Motorsports. They're all in a line. The 36, the 01, and the 10, all teammates, and they're trying to get back up to the front and try to lead some laps here at Daytona.
Yeah, coming off turn number 3 and 4, you see them all kind of being away from that yellow line there. And that 36, look at that. The 07 to the 3 blocks the run on the outside, and now he's going to have the, it's going to get tight. Almost a collision there. There might be one.
There goes the 8,
there goes the 32, the 8, the 2, the 99, the 10's on his side, the 12, the 75, the 14, the 11, and the 43. And there is the big one. Oh, 32 gets tagged again by the 99, just doing a little bit of reversing there, as we got a lot to debunk here. We're going to go up front because I believe it was the 99 of James. Yeah, we're going to have to rewind this just a little bit to debunk this all. And I knew going into this quarter is going to be a little bit sketchy. You see there, Johnny Taylor in the 07 playing a little bit of a pick. The 36 able to get by, and look how close it is on entry. The 01 just too much there. The 32 is going to get into the rear end of the number 8. That's going to send the 8 around to start this thing. I thought maybe the 99 was going to be the start of it, but look at that. Oh, the 32 nowhere to go. He's going to be up and over almost. But it's going to be the 10 and the 99 doing a little bit of Lightning McQueen trying to ride the wall. And, Mark Thomas, the Trisket man, getting involved in yet another accident. The 44 having a strong run here tonight. And, it is the big one that took out the majority of the field.
Yeah, that's going to bring a lot of these cars down pit road. Hate to see the Petty boys getting involved. The Petty Enterprises car, Jacob Kaplan, he was involved in that wreck. 32 probably has a lot of engine damage. The front of the race car doesn't look, it's bad, but it's not too bad. I believe they can do the same thing that they did to the 3 earlier on the last caution break and come down and fix as much damage as you can. He's going to catch the tail end of this field. He's not going to lose too much time. I'm trying to see where the pace car is. It looks like the pace car is probably somewhere middle of the tri-oval. Yeah, it's going
pace
into
car is
one.
actually going into one. Look at that. There goes Della Jr. in the pace car here, as we're going to get a little bit of a digger time with the pace car here, as he's just going to nonchalantly lead some laps here. And it's kind of like the Richard Petty experience at Darlington. They black flagged the king for not getting off the track. So luckily in iRacing, the iRacing pace car will get off the track when it needs to. But nonetheless, these drivers are going to come off a pit lane, and it looks like the 36 did inherit the lead. Johnny Taylor is going to be P number 2. Robert Lawrence will be P number 3. In 4th will be the 01 of Nick Cannon, and rounding out your top 5 will be Kyle Merkel. Brandon Bass in the number 32 machine will be P number 6. 7th will be Daniel Mulnix in the number 2. 8th will be Jacob Kaplan in 8th. Austin Rhodes in 9th, and rounding out your top 10, one lap down, will be Stoney Benfield.
Yeah, so those are the top 10 drivers here from Daytona. Looks like William Brown won the race off of pit road. So give that MB2 Motorsports 36 Skittles car. It'll be the control car when we finally go back to green. And it kind of splits up the RCR boys, so it'll be Taylor on the outside of the front row, and then Lawrence will be down in the second row, and I'm pretty sure he'll probably check up for his teammate. And everybody should be able to make it on fuel from here on out. So we'll go back to green flag racing probably 1 lap 176, 177. I'm seeing if they're doubling it up now. Lights are out, so yeah, we're gonna go back to green 176. You see the 2 barely beating him off the pace car. So a lot of these drivers need to get caught up to the tail end of the field. To the 43s on the backstretch, the 10s coming out. Here comes the 2.
The 32
the
is still on pit lane, so the 32 is possibly going to be out of contention for this race win here tonight, as he has went 1 lap down. You hate to see it, especially for a super strong run that the number 32 had. So it is Daytona. Just chalk it up. You have a long season ahead of you. You can still win the championship even though you have one bad race. As Chris Hamilton once said, you win your championship on your bad nights. As I'm looking at the YouTube chat right now, that's it for the 32, fellas. 7 minutes of repairs. Good showing, though. As, I'm going to see if Mr. Brandon Bass is in the infield care center here. And I think, why not bring in the number 32? Actually, no, we're going to wait for a little bit, as these guys are going to come off turn number 3 and 4, and it's going to be the number 36 leading these drivers back to green. So we're going to go ahead and key up on Barney, as he is wide awake again, as we had a long green flag stint here. This will be hopefully the final caution flag. 2 by 2, bringing these drivers back to the green. We are back to racing, as the 36 and the 3 are still side by side going through the tri-oval. The 36 of William Brown letting the 3 get that advantage, as they are now single file, leaving the number 01 out to dry on that out on the outside.
Yeah, they're gonna all come down to the bottom of the racetrack. Here goes the 07 now. He's gonna go to the outside as well. So the 3 back in control of the field. We're gonna see if the 7 can actually get, or the 07, not the 7. If the 07 can get back to his teammate, But you have teammates working with teammates, right? So the 36 and the 01 are teammates, and then the 07 and the 3 are teammates. Then you have the 14. He's also another MB2. So if they get rid of that RCR tandem, and MB2 looking to have a strong Daytona 500 and to start the year off right, as far as the team points are concerned, they're looking to have a fantastic night with just one of their drivers out of the race. And with 7 minutes of required repairs, that's unfortunate for a guy that was possibly one of the drivers coming down to the end that could possibly win this race. Oh, the Petty boys are all over the place right now. See the 43 darting up right in front of the 75. And the 75, I guess he wasn't the recipient of his lucky dog. But yeah, this is going to be interesting as you see the 07 duck down right in front of the 3. And so now it's MB2 versus RCR versus Petty. So interested as we're coming down to almost 20 laps to go. When do people start making their moves to get to the front? There goes the 36. He says, hold on, I'm trying to get up here with my teammate. If I can get up there and control this pace, keep these RCR boys right at bay.
Yeah, he's got no help on that outside, but we've seen all night long it doesn't take a lot of help to get up to the front, as now you're seeing a different approach to the RCR stable. Robert Lawrence is going to lead these RCR guys as, big move by the number 01. He's going to move up the track. That's going to give Robert Lawrence and Johnny Taylor the run down the inside. They're going to be side by side coming on turn number 3 and 4. Can RCR get clear of the top 3 rows back? All side by side is going to be the 07 leading this lap.
Yeah, the 07 is going to get that, so credit him with an extra set of bonus points possibly for leading that lap. But yeah, it's MB2 on the outside, a little bit of help from Petty Enterprises, and then you have Penske right there with him as well, versus RCR on the bottom of the racetrack. And yeah, this is going to be a spicy last 20 laps, as anything can happen. As we're coming down to the gritty part of the race. This is the part now, Dylan. 20 laps to go. If I'm in the back now, I know I need to start making my move toward the front.
Yeah, this is where the big runs do count. And you see there the RCR guys controlling this field, but they can't get clear of that number 01. The 01's doing a little bit of side drafting along with the 36 and the 09. The 36 and 09 almost get together there. And, a winner can come from the middle of the pack. The 44 can get a great run, follow the 2 through the middle like the 3 and the 07 did earlier in this race. It can come from anybody. The top 2 as of right now is Robert Lawrence and Nick Cannon. In third is going to be that number 3 of Johnny Taylor. A big shot by the number 3 gets Robert Lawrence a little bit loose going down the backstretch, able to catch it and keep that car straight. But it is still RCR leading this pack, as the 01 is playing a bunch of defense here.
Yeah, especially with teammates right behind him. Not really sure why he wants to play defense. And the 07 gonna move both of them up the racetrack just a little bit, trying to slow down their momentum. And so the 01 is in control, but as they dive into 1, the inside line's gonna have that momentum entering the corner. But I'm know for a fact they're not going to be able to clear it. The 01's going to carry his speed off the corner from the high side of the racetrack, and the 36 thinking about going 3 wide, thinks better of it. But I'm pretty sure all those MB2 guys are just talking to each other, trying to just stay in line, keep each other at bay, calm the nerves, especially when you get down to less than 20 laps to go. Nerves start to kick in just a little bit because everybody wants to win a race, especially a race of this magnitude, the Super Bowl of NASCAR. It's going to come down. It's going to be RCR versus MB2, but I believe Petty's going to have something to say about it before it's all said and done. And look at there, Daniel Molnix, a Penske driver. He's starting to get back into this thing with his teammate being scored out of the race. Mark Thomas is reportedly put his car on the hauler, so we'll see him get another head start here at Rockingham. But yeah, they're starting to beat and bang now as we're coming down to it, and gloves are off now, Dylan. We said it earlier. Gloves are off. These guys are going to start swinging haymakers, and eventually it's probably not something you want to do, causing a big one in front of the whole field.
Yeah, with the 1 playing this much defense, I would give enough room, save the hard racing for about 5 laps to go. And, it all comes down to what the 01 is doing. So what the 01 is doing going into the quarters is pinching the drivers on the inside down so they can't get the higher arc going into the corner. That is all good, but it's also going to affect your drive off. As you see, the 3 in the 07 have a better drive off than the 01 in the 36. Now, granted, the 03 in the 07 cannot get clear, but with them pinching just a little bit too much, it creates that little bit of drag. It's not going to allow the RCR stable to get out in front and control the pace of this race. It is still a 6-car battle up here, as the 09 is all over the back bumper of that number 3 machine. But I think the cars that you got to watch for is that 2 and that 44.
I was just about to say that too. The 44 just lurking in the back of here, in the back of this pack. And I have to agree with you. The 2 also lurking in the back, letting these guys battle as hard as they are. Coming up on lap traffic. Some more lap traffic here.
Oh, they better figure it out. They're about to be too wide going into turn 3.
This is going to be sketchy.
They make it through. Oh, I was kind of holding my breath there a little bit too, because that was... that played perfect to the RCR stable, as that created a pick for those 2 drivers. So move Robert Lawrence and Johnny Taylor back out to the lead.
Yeah, so it's going to be the 07, the 3, and then the 09 of Merkel. He's able to slide into that 3rd position so far. And look at Daniel Molnix. After being scored 1 lap down earlier in this race, he's now in contention to win it. He's trying to battle for 4th, and he's actually trying to battle for 3rd, trying to take that position away. And he's bringing that 01 with him, along with the 36. 07 is going to slide up just a little bit, try to break that momentum that they had. Going to try to slow down that line, and it looks like he did. Here comes the 2 now on the outside of the 3. He's looking to take 2nd away to break this tandem up, and so far so good. Molnix trying to score himself a victory so far here at Daytona, with his teammate being scored out of the race. He's trying to show on, trying to keep the train going for Penske, as we're coming to less than 15 laps to go.
Yeah, coming to 15 laps to go here, as it is an RCR stable out front. They're going to move up high. Johnny Taylor almost collecting the wall, and they're going to be 3 wide. Johnny Taylor getting put in the middle there. Robert Lawrence going to block. This is going to get super interesting. They're going to be hooked together. The 01, 3 wide all the way through turn 1 and 2. Johnny Taylor's going to be left out to dry.
Yeah, that broke up the tandem there. I'm not sure why they decided to move to the high side of the racetrack. I would have kept that thing on the bottom.
Oh, there goes the 2. No 9. No caution is going to come out as they were off the track. Robert Lawrence going to take the lead. Oh, that was
no
big, big impact there. I don't think this 07 of Robert Lawrence meant to do it. Just a bad push at the wrong time. And now, once again, there is the caution that now came half a lap late. But now we can kind of debunk what happened here, as we're going to start off with Kyle Merkel here, see exactly what happened, get a better camera angle here, see if the chopper cam is a little bit better. And there it is. The 2 just sliding up in front of Robert Lawrence, going to collect the 09 of Kyle Merkel, both going to go off the track. And, you know, honestly, if I'm looking at it, I think I would have kept the track racing. I mean, not saying, you should have thrown the caution, because, 2 top 5 contenders got taken out of it. But, they were both off the track. I think right there, I would have kept it green.
Yeah, that's just a tough call, especially me and you, Dylan, know firsthand how it is to be a race control, especially doing double duty. So not saying that Lyle's doing a bad job or anything. He has to go with what the set of rules that he was given. Didn't even see. He's probably was looking at what's going on, and so was trying to just do it. But yeah, the 2 just slid up right in front of the 07, giving the 07 like no what happened with there. So sounds like, from the looks of it, it looks like the 2 is going to be receiving the EOL. And so I'd like to take a second look at that replay again, Dylan, if you don't mind, if you can bring that back up. But as we do that, from what we saw, or let's rewind it just a little bit.
Yeah, let me get the.
Dylan's trying to get all his cameras situation, but as we get that.
Yeah, looking here.
I'd like to see. Okay, so the 2 looks like the 2 gets a shot from the 09. Slides him up the racetrack. So no, it wasn't a terrible block.
Just
so
a late block, yeah.
Yeah, with him trying to just correct the race car, slid up the track right in front of the nose of the 07 and came across the 07.
Yeah.
So I would have just named that just a racing incident.
Yeah, that one. I do have to agree. That one, just a little bit of, the 2 trying to, keep the momentum down of that number 09, and then, the 09 getting a little bit of piece of the number 2 sent him up the track and into the number 7, and if I know Robbie was already off the gas trying to get that car slowed down. Just the closing rate of these Gen 4 cars getting right back up to the back bumper, and just nothing that Robbie could do there. So nonetheless, we are 10 laps from our first Daytona 500 winner.
Yeah, it's been a crazy long night. And we're getting down to it. So I know I keep saying that, getting down to it, and these guys know it's coming. Less than 10 laps to go. The 01's going to be in control, so both MB2 Motorsports guys are going to be in control of this field. Looks like the 01 and the 36, and then you have the petty enterprise of Jacob Kaplan. He's running in 3rd. Then your RCR boys of Robert Lawrence and Johnny Taylor. They're going to be row number 3. Looks like the 75 did get his lap back, so he'll be able to come down pit road and try to put some forward tires and gas into his machine, and then
Brandon Bass back out here.
Yeah, it was Brandon Bass able to return to the racetrack.
Yeah, I got that 7 minutes of required repair done, so he's gonna play a little bit of strategy in here, and it's all gonna come down to what does Johnny Taylor and Robert Lawrence wants to do. You got a 2 MB2 team up front. You got the lone petty driver in P number 3. And, you got, looks like Robert Lawrence in the P number 4. Then you got another RCR car, P number 5. And then you got the Tide machine and the 09 of Kyle Merkel up here as well. So, looks like Kyle Merkel, he's going to be in front of the number 32. So, that's definitely going to play dividends here, as maybe Kyle Merkel is supposed to be down on the inside. You can see the big gap that Johnny Taylor's given, as we are going to go green this time by, and it's going to be a start and a shootout to remember here.
Yeah, we're coming to 10 laps to go once they take the green. So Barney has the control of the field. You see the green flag in hand for Barney. And the pace car bringing him off of turn number 4. He's going to make the hard left-hand turn to pit road. So the field now in control of the both MB2 Motorsports guys. And we are green flag racing here again. And again, they separated the 2 Daytona boys, or the 2 RCR boys. And MB2 seems to have control of this field. They're still going to be side by side, racing really, really hard. And you see the 09 up there. He's going to get shuffled out. They're going to put him 3 wide as they entering turn number 2. Taylor getting the back bumper of Lawrence. Lawrence knows he's clear. Doesn't want to leave his teammate out there to dry. And so I do believe once they clear that 09, you'll see those 2 RCR boys try to make it 3 wide and try to make their run and try to get a good finish. But here comes the 09 battling right back. He's going to take him on the outside of the racetrack. And, we're going to be battling 3 wide here shortly for the lead.
Yeah, battling 3 wide here for the lead. The 44 almost gets into the number 07, but it's still 3 wide all the way through. Now, what does the 36 do? He's got the outside and the inside clear. The 09 and 3 get together. The 01 and 3 are now side by side. Does the 36 stay in the middle to bring the RCR boys along, or does he drop down in front of his teammate in that number 01? It looks like he's going to leave his teammate out to dry as of right now. But don't look now, that number 44 of Jacob Kaplan still in the catbird seat. But there we go. The 3 and the 07 making that dive down to the inside. They're going to try to control this race once again.
When they get to the bottom of the racetrack, they're going to pass the 36 with ease, like he's standing still, and bring the 01 with them. Then they're going to move to the high. Oh, the 07's in the wall.
07 got in the wall. He's going to go down to block the 36. The 36 is going to give a little bit of a bump to the number 07. Oh, the 75 is going to get turned. That's going to bring out another caution as he went down to the inside. So we're going to go ahead and get another CRN replay here, see exactly what happened to Stony Benfield. We're going to go ahead and slow it on down. Yeah, I think it was Jacob Kaplan getting into the back of the number 75. Oh, you see there the 09 dropping down low. Jacob got to his right rear and just slung him all the way around. He was able to get off the track. Don't hit the green cone. Oh, man. That green cone got to live another day here at Daytona. But, you know, man, this race just got even more interesting.
Yeah, I've had that situation happen to me plenty of times where I'm the driver of the 44, actually. I'm not talking about being the driver of the 75, where somebody comes across, they check up, you try to check up, think you made enough of a maneuver to get outside of them, and that certainly wasn't the case, and you tag them right in the back bumper, and I've definitely have had that happen to me before. So yeah, looking back at the YouTube replay, since I was able to bring that broadcast up, yeah, just he didn't have enough of his wheel input to turn to the right to try to miss that because of the 09 trying to slide into to that hole that was there, which the 09 did nothing wrong. He was just trying to fill a gap that was there so he could stay intact with these leaders. But the 75 went around and didn't hit anything. He probably has flat spotted tires. He'll come down pit road, he'll put on a fresh set of tires. And it sounds like from the looks of things, the 44 will be getting the EOL. So it doesn't mean anything. And he'll come down. He'll start from the tail end. And it looks like RC is going to just review it one more time just to be on the safe side, just to make sure he gets the call right. As you see, the 8 and the 2, they're going to come down pit road this time. So electing to fix more damage, and everybody else on the lead lap has decided to they've made their money stop already. They're going to save as much gas as they can, try to make it to the end. And look at here, Dylan. Oh no, I thought the 07 was in control of the field. So no, these RCR boys are going to be split up once again. It'll be RCR and MB2. Let's see. So front row, yeah, they're going to be opposite of each other once again, and I'm sure. Once we take the green flag, it'll be lap 197 by the time we get it. So I'll probably be coming down. Hopefully this is the last caution of the race, and hopefully we can have a good finish for us to end. It's been a really good race so far. I know it says 2 hours, 51 minutes and counting, 2:52 actually and counting, but yeah, this race has actually gone decently quick compared to what we experienced last weekend.
Yeah, definitely going by a lot smoother and a lot quicker here tonight. So definitely going to be, you know, something fun to watch here, and you know, hopefully they can keep it green for these last 5 laps of this race. And you know, it's going to be a bittersweet moment. I know if I was in the car racing, my heart would be pounding out of my chest just because I know I have the potential ability to win the Daytona 500.
Yeah, especially with a crown jewel like this, and once we get to Charlotte, that'll be another one. The Southern 500 is one. Bristol, you can say that's a crown jewel. The night race at Bristol. There's a lot of crown jewels that we have out there, but certainly your Daytona, your Charlotte, and Darlington are definitely your top 3 when it comes to these crown jewel events.
Oh yeah, definitely going to be a big crown jewel event that, you know, I'm kind of looking forward to them, but then I'm kind of not. You know, it's definitely going to be a long broadcast. Hopefully we can recreate the infamous 97 and the 32 at Darlington. So I might have to, talk to those two drivers and just like, hey, if you do this, I'll give you a little bit of cash or something, just have them do that just to say that we got to see it on iRacing, you know what I'm saying? But nonetheless, these drivers are going to get lined back up. You got the 01 of Nick Cannon on the front row with Robert Lawrence. Third is going to be Johnny Taylor in that number 3. Fourth is going to be William Brown, and running out your top 5 is going to be that Petty Enterprises Hot Wheels number 44. Running out your top 5, Kyle Merkel, and that number 09 P number 6, Stoney Benfield. In P number 7, Daniel Mulnix. In P number 8, Shane Weldon. 2 laps down in P number 9, and rounding out your top 10. Rounding out your top 10 is going to be Robert Engelman.
Yeah, so as we come back around, we're going to be taking lap 197, and hopefully, Dylan, this is the last time that these guys are going to be behind that pace car. And the MB2 on the inside, the 01, the U.S. Army. It's going to be Nick Cannon in control of the field with the 07 of Robert Lawrence on the outside of him. And then another set of teammates, the 3, and then the 36, William Brown. Green flag is back in the air. We're taking the green flag. Hopefully, this is the last restart of the race. And a big jump by the 01. The 07 is actually going to be clear. The 3 is going to clear them. And the 3 is now going to take it to the outside. A little bit of a block as they take turns 1 and 2. And now you just got to play defense for the whole time if you're the 01. But I don't know if they're going to be able to hold back those RCR boys that they come off of 2.
Yeah, coming off of turn number 2, they're going to be 3 wide. The 11, the 75, and the 36, all 3 wide going down the backstretch. 36 is going to move down in front of the 75. The 36 looking to make a run to the front. He's going to be there for a position. Going to be able to get around Johnny Taylor on that inside. He's going to clear, going to move up in front of Johnny Taylor. What does Johnny Taylor do? He's going to shoot through the middle. Beautiful crossover move by the number 3. He's going to bring along the number 07. And just like that, as he got up to the lead, he's going to fall back to P number 7.
Yeah, he was. What a fantastic move by that 36 to make a move in the middle of the backstretch, get around both RCR boys, and take the lead for a brief moment, and then slide up, and then Taylor able to cross them back over. And it looks like the RCR boy is going to take the middle of the racetrack, and so it's going to be the 3, the 07, and the 09. A little bit of defense being played, trying to shade that run from the 36, and they're going to dive to the bottom of the racetrack. Here comes the 09 with a run. He's going to get to the inside into the quarter panel of the 09 as we're coming back to 2 laps to go. And after this lap right here, Dylan, we're going to receive the white flag. So 2 laps to go starting now, and they're 3 wide for second with Taylor in control of this race.
Yeah, Taylor's going to do whatever he possibly can to keep the race in his control as they are still 3 wide for P number 2. So it is Johnny Taylor setting the tone of this race, but he's going to get passed by the 09. 2 laps to go. Coming off turn number 2 is still going to be Taylor, but look at that, number 36 all by himself on the outside, holding strong, not letting anybody get around him, as it's still going to be the RCR in the middle as Johnny Taylor, there's might be a wreck there. The 75 and 36 get together, able to keep it straight, but now it's going to be a 4-car breakaway. And what does the 36 do? Now he's going to be able to get that run on the 07. Does he take it to the outside, or does he try to make it down to the inside as we got our final lap here at Daytona?
Yeah, they're going to dive back into turn number 1 for the final time. It's going to be Taylor, Merkel, Lawrence, and Cannon, your top 4, as they come off into turn number 2. Give the advantage to the 09 by a hair. But the momentum from the outside to the 3 and the 07 is going to carry them down the back straightaway. The 3 is going to clear the 09, but can the 07 clear the 09 as he entered a turn number 3 for the final time?
He's not going to be able to, but now what does Johnny Taylor do? Oh, Taylor! Oh no, Robbie Lawrence is going to get taken out, but it's going to be the 3 of Johnny Taylor. He's going to be able to come around and take the checkered flag as Johnny Taylor survived the last lap mayhem. Second is going to be Stoney Benfield. Stoney Benfield is going to take P number 2, and William Brown is going to take P number 3, as that was a finish to remember And now we're going to have to debunk all of that final lap chaos before we get our top 3 in here. But, dude, that was an amazing last lap. I wish it didn't end that way that it happened, but it is the final lap. Anything can happen. As you see there, the 36 not lifting, giving any room. He's going to shoot him down to the inside to the number 09, get involved with the 1, and look at that parking lot right in the middle of turn 3 and 4 as everybody that was in this second or this one pack was in it. And the only driver to get through it is going to be that number 43, possibly. No, he was involved as well. So, everybody getting turned around there, and it's going to be the 75 and the 36 able to get their cars straightened back up to take away that second and third position.
Yeah, that was a crazy finish.
That was an absolute crazy finish.
Crazy finish.
Burn it down, Mr. Johnny Taylor. That was a well-deserved win here tonight. Got taken out in his twin 125s and comes out here tonight to get the win for the Daytona 500. Wow, dude, that gave me some goosebumps there, buddy. That was, oh man, that was absolutely amazing. We're going to go ahead and let Johnny Taylor burn it down here at Daytona and to get these final results up here for you, as the race results are going to be Johnny Taylor getting the race win here tonight. Stoney Benfield finishing P number 2. In third is going to be William Brown. Fourth will be Nick Cannon. Fifth, Daniel Molnix. Sixth, Kyle Merkel. Seventh, Robert Lawrence. Eighth is going to be Jacob Kaplan. Ninth, Shane Wilden. 10th is going to be Mark Sikochi. 11th will be Robert Engelman. 12th is going to be Lucas. 13th will be Brandon Bass. 14th, James Marcotti Jr. 15th will be Austin Rhodes. 16th, William Martin. 17th, Mark Thomas. 18th will be Justin Cope. Get these results moved down a little bit further for everybody. 19th will be Brian Whitney. 20th will be Matty D. Clark. 21st will be Dan Ross. 22nd, Jacob Peak. 23rd, Greg Hawkins. 24th, Alexander Encarnacio. 25th, Andy Reeves. 26th, Chad Gunigsman. 27th, Brian Wiggins. 28th, John Thompson. And rounding out your 29-car field is going to be Mark Cook. So while we get these drivers in here for a interview, that was exciting racing all the way in and through. I'm going to go ahead and get our third place finisher, the number 36, get a good camera on him, hide the info here of the results, and we're going to go ahead and bring in our third place finisher here, and we'll be right back. All right, we are here with our third place finisher. That's going to be the number 36 of William Brown. William, you had a bad fast Skittles Starburst combination race car out there tonight. What more did you need to get around that RCR trio?
Oh man, they were fast. They were probably the 2 fastest cars on the track, no doubt about it in my mind. Once they got linked up together on that last restart, I knew probably wasn't going to get around them unless we could get a really good run. I thought I was going to get it. I think it was about 2 laps in, but they pulled a move on me right back and got back around. And I was just trying whatever I could, and that last lap, I didn't mean to get into the 07 quite as hard as I did, but as soon as I touched him, it just completely sent him around. It caused a whole big mess, but it was going to be a mission to even try to get around those guys. They were the fastest.
Yeah, they worked phenomenally against against the other drivers. They teamed up very well. They wanted to stay towards the back. You were kind of up towards the front the whole race. You stayed out of the majority of the wrecks there in the beginning, in the middle, and towards the end. But, we're going to focus on Rockingham here. Next week you got the Rock. Is that a track that you're looking forward to? It's going to be as bumpy as Daytona was here tonight, but do you think that 36 machine can get back up there to the podium next week?
Yeah. I'll be honest with you. Today was kind of surprised. I don't usually fare too well on these super speedways, but my home and where I'm comfortable at is more on the mile and a halves. It's bumpy. It's going to be a lot like this Daytona race, but on a much shorter track. I'm pretty confident we can get something done there. I might feel more comfortable on it, even though it's not a very comfortable track to drive on. But today I feel like I just got kind of lucky.
Yeah, and you hit the nail right on the head. Plate tracks is all about luck. The big ones happened. The fuel pits happened. You had a couple of incidents there. You actually got spun on pit road here tonight, but able to battle back here for a third place finish. So, William, before we let you get on out of here, does anybody want to give a shout out to or a special thanks on that number 36?
Yeah, definitely. I want to give a shout out to my teammates, Lucas, Austin, and Nick. Fantastic guys to race with. I'm glad I'm on a team with them. And I want to give a shout out to you guys, Boost, just putting on a great broadcast and doing a great job. And then as well as everybody in the league, honestly, it's a really fun league. This is the most fun I've had at this track probably ever.
Yeah, it was actually a very good race to watch here tonight, but we're going to go ahead and let you get on out of here. Celebrate that third place finish here tonight, and we'll be seeing you again next week.
Thank you very much, guys.
All right, going to go ahead and move this, put him down there. Not sure where he went. Anyways, going to go ahead and move on to our second place finisher. That's going to be the 75 of Stoney Benfield, and get him on in here as looking for the broadcast.
So Dylan's going to work and try to move Stoney here into the broadcast. And so we were able to do that. And Stoney, this is Dylan and Ricky in the CRM booth. You got a copy?
I sure do, guys. How are you tonight?
Well, I'm good. Probably not as good as you are. You were trapped a lap down early on in this race. You're able to get that lap back and then come away through all the carnage on the last lap with the wreck in turn 3 and 4 and managed to come home in a P2 position. Talk to me, man, about how your race went along and you showed adversity through the whole thing and coming home P2. Phenomenal job on that.
Yeah, we just, we got caught up in a couple wrecks, and one time, the first one, I had about a minute worth of damage and was able to get that fixed, and then had another one with 22 seconds worth of damage and able to get that fixed. But man, this setup that Cody Porter has made for us it was just so good. It got better on the long run. And I knew that I had a car that could run up front, and I just couldn't catch a break. And finally, I got the lucky dog and was able to come up through there. And I wish we'd have had a couple more laps with no wrecks, because I really believe we maybe could have even won the race.
Yeah, those RCR boys, that was going to be my next question. Did you think you could have anything for those RCR boys? Seem to be the favorites. They dominated majority of this race. And did you think you could have had something for them here at the end?
I think maybe on the long run that we could. Short run, probably not. But get some laps on the tires, and I think our cars just got faster, myself and Brandon and Kyle. And so I'm just thankful to come home second place with all that I went through tonight. And it was just awesome.
Well, we're going to switch focus now. We go to the high banks here in Florida of Daytona, and then now we go up north to Rockingham in North Carolina. Kind of like it's not your, I guess you can say, D-shaped quad oval. It's like your mile version fast 150, 160 mile trying to get down to the corner. What's your mindset going to Rockingham, and you think you have something for these boys come next week when we go up there to the Rock?
Yeah, I'm excited about going to Rockingham. I actually live about 45 minutes from that track, and that's a real driver's track. And of course, we'll have a great setup for that track. And it's going to be totally different than here. It's going to be handling and saving tires and that type of thing. So it should be exciting.
Tony, before I let you on get out of here, congratulations on the P2 finish tonight. Who'd you like to thank on that 75 machine?
Well, I want to thank a couple people if I can. First of all, I got about 20 people that I send a broadcast link to that watch, and I want to thank them for staying up late tonight and watching the broadcast. And then, of course, I want to thank our team, Redline Racing. These guys are just great. But most of all, they call me the faster pastor. I'm a Christian, and I just want to thank Jesus Christ for what he's done for me. And we just celebrated his resurrection last Sunday. Actually, this paint scheme, the reason I chose this paint scheme, my dear friend, Morgan Shepherd, he and I have been friends for 40 years, and he drove this paint scheme, and I called him and asked him, I said, hey, which scheme should I use in between 96 and what it was, 2003 or 7? And so Morgan is a radiant Christian. And so, hey, man, I'm here to make a difference, to win some races, and to influence people that as much as I can with the gospel of Christ. But thank you so much for the interview tonight.
Thank you for putting on a show for us, and I'm gonna have to talk to you after this broadcast. Probably hear some Morgan Shepherd stories. I'm a big historian of the people from the past and what they've made the sport to today. So definitely gonna have to reach out to you after this broadcast. But man, congratulations on the P2 finish. Hopefully we get to talk to you next week at the Rock, and I hope you go celebrate with everybody on the team. A phenomenal performance that you put on for the broadcast here tonight.
Thank you so much, friend. Yes, sir.
I think before Stoney gets out of here, I think from the rest of the season, you got to give an invocation every week.
I'm down for that.
Listen, I would love to if you guys want to do that. I'm going to try to make every race.
Deal. You are in.
and matter of fact, Morgan and Cindy are watching this broadcast tonight. Morgan has Parkinson's, and he can't go out of the house much now. And he and his wife are watching, and he's seeing his paint scheme. I did this in honor of him because I love him, and he's such a great friend. He's a great man of God. He really is.
All right, Stody. Well, we appreciate you being in the NSR and showing off that beautiful paint scheme for your dear friend Morgan Shepherd. And we're going to go ahead and let you celebrate that second place victory. And
Thank you.
And like Ricky said, we'll hopefully see you again next week.
All right. God bless you guys. Thank you so much.
No problem, buddy.
So that was our second place finisher. That's going to be the 75, rocking the Morgan Shepherd paint. And Morgan, if you're watching, I hope you're ecstatic, just as we are here in the broadcast booth. Stoney drove a phenomenal race, missing the carnage there at the end. But I'm going to let you now bring in the man of the hour. It's a guy driving that famous number 3. It's going to be Mr. Johnny Taylor.
All right, in the broadcast booth with us here tonight, we have the number 3 doing it for Dale, getting the race win here tonight. That's going to be Johnny Taylor. Johnny, you drove one hell of a race. You stayed in the back for the majority of it. That seemed to be the way to go here tonight. 200 laps at Daytona. Coming home with the first win in the bag here tonight. You ran with your teammates as much as you possibly could with Brian Whitney and Robert Lawrence. Kind of walk us through on how your race went through here tonight.
Yeah, it was a good race, all about teamwork. Sucks that the other two there got wrecked out early on, but all in all, it was It was an eventful race. We had a strong car. All the teammates had a strong car. Robert pushed me pretty good there to the win, and then looked in the mirror and I saw them all pile up, and pretty much smooth sailing from there on.
Yeah, you did what you had to do there at the end. And we seen a little bit of a slide job from the number 36 at the end. And was it going through your mind whether Robbie was clear or not that you were going to go back to the inside to get around the number 36, or were you just going to say to hell with it and just praise hell, praise Dale?
I was waiting for Robbie to get clear before I made a move. I knew I was going to need a little bit of help to get that win there, because it's Daytona and you need to be in the right line and trust who you got behind you.
Yeah, you had your teammates behind you pretty much the whole race there. Had a couple of miscommunications on the pit lane, got into the grass just a little bit, but nonetheless able to come out here, get the first win of the season. That's off your back now, but now we're going to turn our attention to Rockingham. It's kind of a similar style track with the bumpiness, just not as big. Is that going to be one of the tracks that we're going to see another RCR stable dominate at?
Hopefully we have a good strong run there. We'll work on it and see how we play out.
All right, Johnny. Well, before we let you get on out of here, does anybody want to give a shout out to on that number 3 machine? Johnny?
What's up?
Before I let you get on out of here, does anybody want to give a shout out to?
I'd like to give a shout out to my teammates there for all the help tonight. Mark for putting on the league, and you guys for doing the broadcast.
All right, Johnny, we're going to go ahead and let you get on out of here. Celebrate that first place victory, and hopefully we'll see you again on the podium spot or in victory lane next week at The Rock.
All right, man. Catch you later.
All right, that's going to do it for our top 3 interviews here tonight. As Ricky, that was an amazing race here from start to finish. No matter what happened, these drivers came out here to play. It's definitely going to be a big turnaround here to next week as they turn in the plate track racing into a hard braking, more left turning into the Rock. Definitely a tire shredder track, but nonetheless still going to be providing good racing. And, make sure you guys tune in tomorrow night as I will be in the broadcast booth for the Core Racing Premier Series as they get ready to tackle their playoffs. Ricky, you're going to be down on the track in the Lotus 79 at Indianapolis. I'm going to be up in the broadcast booth. I have a special guest in the broadcast booth on Sunday night, so you don't want to miss that live coverage coming at you at about 9:45 p.m. Eastern on CRN. Monday night, you're going to see another broadcast on a CRN with Carl Handwerk in the broadcast booth as the Core GT Series makes their return back here on a CRN. Tuesday night, you're going to see John Nobinger and Ricky Gonzalez in the broadcast booth for the ARCA and the Truck Series on CRN, and then another broadcast going on with the Top Gun Cup Series with UCRL and the 87s as Carl and Jimmy will bring you that live coverage on a Tuesday night. Wednesday night, you're going to have the Shane's Super Late Model Showdown as I will be in the broadcast booth for Hickory in the Super Late Models for 135 laps. That's going to be a good race that you don't want to miss. Another short track going on Thursday night. No broadcast as of right now until they come back on a Thursday nights. Friday nights, you're going to see Carl Handwerk back at the booth for Redline Racing as they get ready to go to race number 2 of their season in the Gen 4s as well. No broadcast, or then Saturday you're going to see myself and Ricky Gonzalez next week at Rockingham for NSR, and then right back here on Sunday with the Core Premier Series. I want to thank everybody who has stayed around to sit and watch these drivers go round and round all the way through this racetrack. I want to send a big prayers to Morgan Shepherd and his wife Cindy for all that they are having to overcome. Prayers are with you from the CRN family. I want to thank all 470 subscribers for subscribing, liking, sharing the content that CRN does produce. Make sure you guys hit that bell notification, hit the thumbs up, comment whenever you see us go live so we know you're active and watching. Make sure you turn on all bell notifications for anything that CRN has to offer. Without further ado, this has been Dylan and Ricky in the broadcast booth. Make sure you guys take care. Brush your hair.